Hello everyone. In our today's video, we're gonna start building our ShopTech e-commerce application. So as you can see here, that will be the front face of our application, and typically it also has a backend structure which you cannot access without the proper permission and authentication, because we're using the middleware to lifeguard all of the pages where we need to set the middleware in so far. So first of all, I'm gonna go and provide you a quick tour so you can understand a bit about the application layer and how we are gonna make these things apart. And by the way, this application has all the functionality to have a proper e-commerce application. If you are with me from start to finish, you're gonna have a proper understanding how you can build a production grade e-commerce application. And of course, 2-3 things can be plus minus, but it gonna capture almost all the functionality. And beside of that, you people are looking for another monolithic application which also on the go. Maybe it's also gonna coming with a backend dashboard and front end within the React, and because we're gonna have a 3 project all together, which gonna also coming a mobile variation which will be passing that React Native and also the Next.js. So all the things gonna coming part by part. So we're gonna start building that, and of course what I'm gonna do, because this entire application is fully and highly responsive for every devices by so far in there. So as you can see, this is all layer is much more productive and active layer. So this all are working perfectly fine. So first of all, we're gonna go and have a quick, and maybe you can see it's a max width of screen to axle 1280 pixel. My screen is bigger, so it's just coming in the middle, but maybe in your device it's gonna fit in proper way. So it's up to you, whatever the length is there. So what kind of things we are going to build? So what I want you now, put a just open your notepad, just highlight which area need to be worked through and go through it. And of course I have one humble request to you, because as I'm preparing the other 2-3 projects together, so if you have any recommendation, please post it in the comment, and if it's possible I will just go through this recommendation for the next build. Okay, so first of all, we have our header, and in the header we have our logo, then we have our search bar, and this search bar is working pretty much very good and dynamic way. As you can see, if you load here, we're gonna also seeing, you see the ShopTech is loading, so we have our loader setup is previously done from there. So now whenever our search is active, as you can see, there is some of the highlight notion is there. If I just click elsewhere, it just disappear. So whenever we are active here, we can search anything. Like if we search on the phone, all the phones, you see no result for the phone. But if you go with iPhone, because I'm not using the light search, I'm exact matching search I'm gonna keeping there, but I'm gonna also show you how you can go and utilize that one in next extent. We have the search result and others. If I just type a, so it's gonna have a lot of things you can see here. But first of all, at the first very layer, we have our popular products. If I click here, as you can see, that product is right there, and throughout the matching for that particular product, we are showcasing all the variation. Now these things, if you just click any of the product from the search, as you can see, it gonna go through that page using the proper method, which we can call the slug. And I just create the slug using the name, but you can also enter the variant, price, so many things you can enter there. It's up to you how you configure. So I keep one image for particular there, the others are dummy, but I will show you how you can upload and use. Maybe the image, it will not match together, because as you know, it's not, I'm not gonna go do business with that, so I'm using dummy images. And whatever the images I'm using in the repo, you're gonna find each and every single images. Okay, and I'm gonna show you where you can find all the things, so no worries, trust me, you're gonna do that. So I'm gonna go at the here over in the home page. Then we have our several buttons. We have the shop button, we have the deal button, we have the account. Now login and register, because we are not logged in, so it's just showcasing what are the things gonna be there. First of all, if we click on the shop, it particularly it will go and roll back to our shop page where the shop mechanism gonna run. So this is our shop page. So in the shop page, we have a multiple scenario. We have our product categories, we have the brands, price. So these all things are filterable. If I just gonna be filtering with the mobile accessories, and as you can see, whenever I'm gonna select that, nothing is there. If I try to select the TV, you can see the TV is there. And also I can go through the price. if it's just 3 to 5,000, see, nothing much. Now there's a two selection going on. One is the product categories, which is TB. Another is the price category. Now I can single-handedly remove one by one. You see that one is removed. If I go high tech, so now again 2 is selected, I can receive the entire selection. So it will go instant and all the things gonna be loading by so far. Then if we go back to in our home page, we're gonna have our deal. The similar things gonna happen. So the deal products gonna be there. So almost all the deal materials going to be there by so far. Then if we click on the account where we are showcasing there, as you can see, we have the login, registration, and we need to go and create the instant to go to the login. I'm gonna go later on. So first, let's go and do some chit chat. So there we have the laptop finder, raise complaint, online support, service center, all are clickable. You can have your finding. Then we have our all the categories to get your desired product from feature category. So as you can see, all the categories is showcasing very interestingly, and as you can see, it's fully responsive. And maybe so many websites you're gonna see those kind of things is there. So I collectively try to use lots of website and find those things and matching right here. Now if we click any of that category, like supposed to be in the mobile, I click on the mobile. So what it gonna happen, it gonna take me to the category page according to my selected, which I select as a mobile. So it's gonna be shuffling right there. So now I'm here in my category page here, and mobile accessories, nothing. If I go try to check the mobile phone, as you can see, there is a mobile phone. And whenever I see the routes before, previously, if we just go the previous route which has that mobile accessories, whenever I choose that like refrigerator, and it's gonna see what it's gonna do, it's gonna reroute those things because it's gonna selected those area, and really the route setup gonna be like particularly changed by so far. So this is how we're gonna go and render. And by the way, you can also keep that for you the shop page, but I created 2 separate pages for that. Then also okay, I forgot to expire here in the banner, which having that together of that, you can see it's scrollable and slidable, so you can have your banner. Then we have our compare products. So this is a new feature which I'm introducing here. So if I try to make some, like if we go with the iPhone, so let's say iPhone, or I can go with the laptop. So laptop, what I'm typing, yeah, laptop. Okay, so I'll go with the HR laptop, then I'll go with the MacBook Apple Mini. So there is 2 product I selected. I'll go and click view comparison. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna go and take me, you see this coming according to the slag, and it's now is coming here in the compare page here, where I can compare part by part, image comparison, comparing name, price, brand, availability, description, actions. So a lot of things you can go and delete there. So whatever things I feel it better, I keep it like here. So all are available in this stock. You can add almost like 4. You can go with like if I want to choose another, like say Apple MacBook Pro 6, so that one, you can see it's just heading there, and I can remove one by one, or I can remove together. So this is up to you. Even I click here, it also remove from there. So this is a sort of things which can really make some differences whenever you are gonna building a like a very unique e-commerce application. Then this one just a showcase. So let's go back to our featured products. So check and get your desired product. So this the things is really amazing how we're gonna build. See our card over here. Whenever we hover, our image is getting bit inspired from there. Then we have a badge called save, and here we are parsing through that 5%. There is a discount there, and how much discount a person getting. Now if you can see, we have the category, we have the name and called the title, and also we have stock. So if a product is getting out of stock, that product, it should not be purchasable, right? So this is what we're gonna handling from the backend and front end. So both side it gonna be twinkled together. So means you cannot sell a product which is not in stock right now. So whenever we're gonna hit the purchase or we're gonna place our order, that's stock going to be minus from the actual stock. So if I just add to that, add to cart, you see that 43-inch TV just added successfully. So now here, as you can see, if I added more, I cannot add more than available stock. But if I clean the minus, I can delete that too. So I have that one here is 4. So I can add more. As you can see, the price is changing. So this is how we are combining there, and this is remarkable in that way. So I will add some more product, and I will add one product which going to be out of stock by so far. Now, this can be interesting when you're adding more product on that. Then after that featured product, we have shop by brand. Now, typically what it's gonna do, if I select an HP, it will take me to similarly that shop page, and it's gonna by default selected that HP brand products. And now I can roll back to previous. So as far as you can know here, as how it, okay, I click twice. So now as we did that, so let's go home and try to check something more interesting feature which we are having. That after the brand we have like a delivery segment, free delivery, free return, customer support, and money back guarantee section. Then we have our latest blog section. If we click any of that particular blog, so it's gonna go and prefetch that. And also the similar as we did for the product, it has a single blog application like showcasing the blog page. So now it's having showcasing the content, which as you can see is coming up with a proper slide and details here, and I can have a vision from where it's generated and where I am now. So in here we have image, we have the category and the writer name and when it has been published. Then we have our entire blog parameter where we are reading that, and also as you can see we have the blog categories, we have other blog, and if we click any particular blog, it's gonna render the newest blog like that. So if we go back here, so we just showcase the blog section, and also there is another button which showcasing view all. Whenever we click view all, we're gonna have a blog page, particular blog, dedicated blog page where all the blogs can be gathered together. Now the design is a bit niche and clean, as you can see. So now as we did all of those scenario, we have visit us, we have call us, working hours, email support, and then we have our older scenario like the social gathering, we have the quick links, category section, and the newsletter. Then we have the right reserve, and the tiny button here, you can see if we click, we have 3 segments, especially you can remember is as a cart. And also we are having a cart button here as we added the cart in the product. And also if we just go and click any of the product, if you just try to go in a single product there, and then you can add to your favorite button here. You can see once we add it in the favorite, so a product should be also in the favorite. So if I try to go in the cart, you see I click to go back to the cart, but I cannot go as I need to go and pass the authentication. Now you can remove the authentication from there. It's just a middleware setup which we did. Some people, you may want to know, user can go in the cart only when the purchase they can do the trick. So I'm going to show you how you can start, and I'm going to go with a bit of slow pace, so the movement going to be a bit of like a diligent, so you can understand it. And as we are now looking for the AI, everything, we are just getting a quick notch, but we are going to be slow and steady. So whatever we are doing here, you're going to learn and you can implement in your real life work. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and use my account which I used previously. I'm gonna log in, and it's a very simple way with the Clerk. I'm gonna show you every single niche and clean portion. Now as you see, I was going directly from the cart. So as you see, after logged in, I just come back in the cart. So this is the very interesting thing. So whenever you are going through fallback there, you will return to that particular page. So this is my shopping cart here. Now in my cart, we have a image, product name, model, quantity, unit price, total, action. So this is kind of things is very cool and interesting. I try to increase from here. I can increase, I can decrease, and also similar way I can delete. And as you see, as I'm using the similar component everywhere, I'm trying to like using the unique component in a same engagement. So as you see, the quantity level is same coming from the cart, like the product card. So now if we just go back here, I can delete a product from here, and also I can delete the entire as a receipt card, but you know, the accidentally I don't want to delete, so I will just keep it cancelled. So just the alert going up. Now my home address is getting selected by default. Now I have actual price, so it's 5566. I have discount 508.80. That's the price which I need to pay to purchase the item. And by the way, if I go right here, if I just reload, because right now I logged in here, so automatically my admin gonna be work like here. I think this is some of glitch. I'm gonna just open the admin again. So from here should be admin and studio. So this is my Sanity Studio, and here it's not as simple like just not only a CMS like a content management services. There's a lot of things you can do nowadays with the Sanity. They have the latest update, and you're gonna like amazing thing you're gonna having studio. There's a lot of things you can do by so far, and I'm gonna try to explore each one of them. And you can run a very small business by a free version from the Sanity. Trust me, you can do it if you just try to understand whatever we are building right now. As you can see, for this application, I'm gonna having my Shadcn request, 1 million request I can do. I can have a 10 GB of like 100 GB of asset. I have the 2 data set and also that 20 set of user, then around 250k of the API request, and for like 100 GB of bandwidth and 10k documents I can keep in here. So like a normal small business, you can typically go with the Sanity, but it's not my choice by so far, because we're gonna having a lot of other easy solution. Like I want to introduce also MySQL, like it's widely used everywhere, so we're gonna implement that one later on. But this application gonna be crucial because I'm gonna let you understand each and every single segment from there. And for the payment, and of course still I'm gonna use that Stripe, because you people are asking for the Razor and some people are asking for PayPal and others. I'm gonna try the PayPal, the next one, but the Razor, as I'm not in India, is difficult to combine there, but I'm trying to find a way. And also I'm gonna trying to explore some other method like the Polar and others, so you can have in future. And for the authentication, we're gonna go with the Clerk on that, because you're gonna have 100 users free, and also it's not that much difficult to go with that. But in future you're gonna have so many other application layer, but this time I'm gonna go with that. And pretty much every single thing about that project you can find in our homepage on the reactbd.com. So all the newest project you can see here. So here is a typical link over there. You can just click on the project and you can find all the projects available right there. If you click any of that, like if you want to go the Toulouse e-commerce website, if you just go to GitHub, you can just directly land to the GitHub repo is assigned for that, so that you can just easily grab that one. And also all the other appability. So for this one, for the shop cart, like the shop tech here, you can see all the details right here, and you can just purchase and just go through it with that. And there is one more very small announcement for that. We're introducing the tools for nowadays, which I'm gonna have the image converter, image resizer, email faker, JSON generator, because this is the one we're gonna use in our application. Because if we're gonna have particular user, you can generate the user right here. So also you can add more name. Like I want to have my user should be like a passion. So that should be there, and it could be a string, and you can see there is it could be also coming up on that particular instances. Okay, I need to add that. Okay, so I added the patient, so I can also just make that one at the top. If I from the after ID, I will add that. So now I have a passion here, so it's just a sample data. So this we're gonna use before checking the data layer especially, and you can have the user, product, so many data, array, object, and the number of records, everything gonna be there. Whenever I'm gonna using, I'm gonna showcase to you, and you can find each and every single there. Either you can go to the reactbd.org, you can find it here, or you can just follow up through in reactbd.com tools. You can find all the tools. There will be other things which are on the way. You're gonna find it slow and steady, it gonna coming and popping up. So for this one, I recommend you to follow that through that reactbd.com projects. All the projects, latest project gonna be uploaded here with all the particular link, GitHub and live link, YouTube link, and for the premium code link, all will be available right here. Okay, so let's go back to our testing phase. So let's go over here, and as I'm just forecasting data from a local host, and by the way, I will let you deploy this application. You see the shoptech.reactbd.com, we deployed it, and everything working perfectly the similar way we are using right now, and trust me, it's gonna work. So what we're gonna do, first of all, there is a little issue. What's the issue is there? I think this is nothing, just is like a simple environment error in my locally, which is happening, but I think you are not gonna face it because my system is getting a bit of slower. You can see the request and others getting a bit of slower. Now, what you're gonna do, we want to have a proper order recommendation, right? So I'm running my webhook, I'm running my payment method, everything. So first of all, if we just go try to visit in our account after login, you're gonna have a proper view how the account gonna look like. We have our image, we have logout button, we have orders, cart, edit profile, addresses, wish list, transaction, take points, and others. So all the things is right here. Now with that similar account, I already have an order before. So if I click on the orders, so I should be able to see my previous orders, which is typically gonna provide an overview how my order is gonna look like and what kind of things I have been purchased and did for that. Okay, I think, in my orders, there is no orders right now. Okay, fine. That's a very good, cool things. So now, as you see in the account, you're gonna have everything, like all the menu, gonna be certainly put it together. But when I go to the orders directly, it just align right here. So you can now toggle through easily access any of the page right here. You can also add, so all the features gonna be applicable, and I'm gonna show you how you can do that. So right now we need to make and check out, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to visit our cars, then we're gonna go and make a payment here. So my payment is 50858. So now as you see, every button gonna work perfectly, so it's confirmed here. So now as you see, now I'm here in my Stripe checkout. As I'm from Bangladesh, by default getting my currency, but I'll go with the USD. So over here, you see the 5058. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide a dummy card number, which is 4242. Then I will provide a valid month and then the CVC number, which will be by default 123. I'm going to provide my name, which is going to be, okay, you can see my card, but I think you cannot use it right now. So hit pay. So now what it's going to do after, also we're going to can add the promotion code here if we wanted to. We're gonna capture all of these things in whenever we are making the video, and I'm putting it a bit of lengthy because I want you to understand everything. So if you feel boring, you can just go through the timeline, just click on that starting the build. You can just go directly in the build section. So it's up to you how you may like, but I want to go and slow and steady pace. So now after having the payment is done, it's gonna just pass my order data here in my database. Then of course, I'm gonna go directly in a success page. So as you see, that's the success page right here. And over the success page, I'm gonna having my other details. The order confirmed. Thank you for your purchase. We are processing your order and will ship it soon. So now this is the order details. The payment method is coming up with the credit card. We have the recent orders, which is like that. So this is the one which we paid. So I can directly go in my orders. So as you can see, account orders, and in the order history, I have my orders. If I just toggle through it, I can see the details. I can download invoice. If I click download, it's gonna, as I'm using this Stripe, so I'm not using my own mechanism, I'm using the Stripe mechanism by which I can go through the payment. And trust me, for the development and for the production, it's a kind of similar setup. Not that much difference because I already work with some of the production layer, and this is not so much difficult and not so much change there. You need to just go through the proper documentation. So if you're having any problem, if you're trying this Stripe in production level, if you're facing problem, you can contact me privately so I can help you out with that. So now as you can see, I done. So this is my order history, and by so far, if you go in our backend, if I go directly in our I think it will just take a bit of second. Okay, let it reload. So now we can go directly in our orders, and on the orders data, because we are maintaining, as you see, this is my account and we are maintaining a particular segment and scenario by which we can go and prelude the order data and make it things in a good way. So this is a kind of order structure data where we are keeping the order number, invoice number, and hosted invoice URL, others, and also we are passing our product data. So you can see, you can just visualize the product data and others. I think it's my network which is constantly pinging on that. So it's okay, maybe you will not face that problem when you're running in your localhost. So we have the total price, we have currency, the shipping address is right here, and paid. We can just go with we can go directly change the method, pending, processing, paid, shipped, out of delivery. So all the things we can make it happen from there. So this is a very easy and very go through method. If I want to delete the order, I can just simply delete. If we click OK, as you can see, It's the little spinner is working, so means it's working on progress, and others is visible. So order history is no orders found. You can directly see like that. So this is a kind of things which is gonna be cool, and if you can build this entire structure by from the scratch, you're welcome. You are now a developer on the go. So I will click on logout, because right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna start building our entire things. I'm going to show you how you can configure that. I'm going to show you how you can configure the payment, and starting with the webhook. I'm going to also show you about that for the Clerk authentication, and trust me, stay with reactability. We're going to also find the best solution for you, and let me know in the comments whichever more features you're going to looking forward for your next project. We're going to use Next.js to build our project. So this is the documentation from nextjs.org, and from here you can click on get started to just find a way how you can get started with that. And we are going to use that React, the latest version 15.3.3. maybe if you are coming on later on joining for the video, maybe your version should be the different, but as you can see, we are going to use that app router, not the pages router. So this the two setup. One is the page router, and then coming up with the latest version itself. And also for our CSS materials, we're going to start using that Tailwind CSS, which also going to coming as the latest version for 4.1. So this is the one which we are going to implement in our application. To do with that, first click in that installation process, and as you see, you need to have that Node.js 18.18 later. And now if we just go and check in my here, I have one empty directory, what is called that yt_build, and over here I will just open my terminal. So this is the terminal. If I put ls, nothing within my terminal. If I just check with that node-v, so I have 23.7.0. I need to have that 18.18 or later. If we just go in that Node.js right now, as you can see, this is that you can also have the 22.16. So we are having higher version, so you're good to go. So what I need to do is that copy that command, or you can manually write that one, which can the npx create next app at latest. And after that, you need to provide a name. So I'm going to provide that shoptech_yt. So that will be my project name, shoptech_yt. Hit enter. Now upon entering, it's saying create Next.js app 15.3.3. Of course, hit enter, and no need to write the Y if you are yes. So because by default it's taking the Y, and we are going to use TypeScript as because our application length is pretty much bigger. If you just considering the pages and others, there will be a several pages and several things. So we are going to just go out of the type safety. We're going to use the TypeScript. Yes, lint, yes, Tailwind CSS, of course, and source directory. You can keep it, so everything gonna be neat and clean within the source, but I'm gonna go within the main layer because we're gonna implement lots of scenario like the middleware and others. I'll just go with the basic feature. So no, and app router, of course, yes. And for the turbo pack, either you can keep it no, or you can keep it yes. So if you put yes, you know, the normal like the development process and the build time, it will be reduced a lot. So we're gonna use the turbo module, and also the import alias should be no. What is the by default? Let's just dig into it. So now what it's gonna do, as you see, it's going to install dependency React, React DOM, and Next, and the dev dependency gonna come in TypeScript, types Node, React, and the Tailwind CSS for dependency parameter. If you doesn't have the Tailwind CSS, or you're going to using the Vite or any other application, you can use several mechanisms to build that same application. Then you just go to get started, and from the framework guides you can see what kind of guideline assurance it's gonna provide for your entire build setup. And it's supported widely, as you can see, Next.js, Laravel, Next, Solid.js, Asbelt Kit, and others. So you can just happily go, and if you just click like similar like RSpec, so if you just click on that, it's gonna showcase how you can create that particular application and then how you can use it. So it's pretty simple and pretty solid to go on. Okay, so right now if we just go here within our terminal, I think yeah, you need to provide just a few seconds or minutes, depending on the internet connection, to just get the dummy project ready. application is created. So as you can see, 45 packages and audited with the 46 packages and also 150 packages, so which is just go and set in. So if I put ls, you can see I already having one ShopTech YT. Now the several directories here. If you just open it right here, you can see there is a lot of directory and files is right here. So we need to have an editor, and for the editor we love to using that VS Code editor, VS Code. So now normal days there is a lots of AI code editors there. You can go with the WebStorm, you can go with that Cursor and others. So I'm using a lot of a long time Visual Studio Code. Also you can go with the agent mode. So I will just go with a simplicity to just go and dive into with that. If it doesn't have any editor, just go download any preferable editor for you. If I put now I need to go within the directory from here, from the terminal line _YT, and if you're using that window, you can also just click that. If you like here, you can just click and like you can, there will be a solution that you can open with the editor, or you can drag and drop within this your editor punchline. The both way it can work, but what I love to do is that I will just make that code space dot, and it will automatically open the editor, like open the project within my editor. So okay, I will trust that. Okay, right now I'm having a fresh project which is created by Next.js by default. So it's like a template projects right here. So to run that project, what I need to do is you can go to have that, like basically nowadays we are not reading too much about the documentation, especially when the AI is getting free, ChatGPT, Grok, or any other AI. We are just loving to go find a solution there. But what I recommend to you, whenever you are implementing anything, try to read the documentation. So that can give you a pretty much top-notch understanding whenever you are building something or making some parameter. And by the way, you can use pnpm, yarn, and burn also. So I'll just go with the npm as it's just a default node package module. So I'll love that. But I really also want you to go try that pnpm. This is very cool and interesting. Okay, so if you just see, your application should be at the top level, and if you do that, you can see it's open like that. So you need to be very careful that it's coming on that way. Otherwise it will not, you are not in the right project. So from here, how we can, if you can see, we have node modules. So how we can open the projects, from there you can go with the view, or yeah, you can see the terminal. You can open the terminal or command J. It will also open the terminal. So I'll just go with the J, or also you can use the bash. I'm gonna just run a simple command npm run dev. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna run my projects in my local environment, which is localhost 3000, and in the network, which gonna be coming /3000 on that parameter. So I'll just open my localhost 3000, and my project should be up and running there. And now, before jumping on the project itself, I want to go overall to be having a demo here. So this is my project. You can see the read the docs. It's just a Next.js documentation parameter, but I don't want anything whatever they created by default. I don't want any default behavior to be implemented right there. So what I'm gonna do at the first instance, I'll go in my page. So this is the main parameter from where everything is running. If you just come over here, like if you see there is a footer here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove the footer. If I remove and save, so you will be see that footer is gone. So that's the where the project self is running. So I'm gonna just remove everything. I'm gonna put a div here, and within the div I'll make it bigger first so that you can see it properly, and that will be ShopTech e-commerce app. Okay, and after saving, you can see the ShopTech e-commerce app at the top, and also we can go in the globals.css, and right now this module gonna working like that at Tailwind CSS, and the root and the theme inline and other parameter. I will just go and remove these two. Okay, body and others, I want to be coming with the default parameter. So right now, as you can see, it's working, but at the top, create next app. But if you go over here, we are having ShopTech online store, then I'm putting my image. You can put your app store image or any other. So we need to go and configure that, and to configuring this one, we have a layout right here. So in the layout, we need to configure all of the setup. As you can see, we have the font setup and others. So if we go and try to check our fonts, you can see, if we see the font details, our fonts is Turbo Chat. So this is the font we are going to use. Of course, you're gonna set it for this application. First of all, I'm gonna remove this entire default setup, entire default fonts, which is gonna coming from the Google font, and also I'm gonna just remove that variable names. Okay, so now it's gonna be fall back to a default font. So right now it's there. Now also I need to implement that in Prompto. If we like that, now is the Shoptech online store. If we go in the shop, you can see that's it's just coming, and every single time you see how this / is coming to just showcase the data and others. So this is kind of things which we can do and make that, you see. So we are going to be implementing on that deep dive into that. So what we're gonna do, first of all, we're gonna rename that, okay, and then we're gonna go with that the percentage sign, which gonna be, and then gonna s, so which it will be a multi-line, so it's gonna be coming popping up in every single direction. So Shoptech online store. If we save, you can see it's directly changing that, but right now I will do it later to make it more elaborate. Right now I will go with a simple procedure, and here actually it will not that can be go through it, but as you see we need to wrap it in different way. If I just cut that one and just put it within the object and the template itself, I will do and make those things to be go okay, I think this one directly. So in the title, and also I need to provide a default title. So by default, if we don't put any title over there, should be Shoptech online store. Hit save, and right now as you can see, Shoptech online store. So every time we're gonna just render in different, we can just do in that parameter. Now also the description we can change, and that is very good for SEO. And whenever we are building application, we need to forecast about our SEO too. So Shoptech online store, and then your, or you can make go with that, should be your one stop shop for all your needs. Okay, this scenario, this the text and others, you can do it by your own. And for changing the Fabi icon, you can see there is one default dummy Fabi icon. If we just remove that one from here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and bring my up on my own ICO file, which is just my image, which I make just an ICO. And then if you just remove that, you see that Shoptech online store and everything looking perfectly fine. So now we are working on something, right? So the first parameter, I'll go in my page right here. So in this layer, that should not be within the single impromptu. There will be a several setup. And what kind of setup it will be? There should be some dynamic file structure. First, it will be, there will be a directory called auth, where our authentication mechanism, our sign in, sign out, like login and other parameter are gonna go. And then we are going to have our client directory, so where the client side application layer gonna go. And after that, we are also going to having an admin directory where all the admin setup going to be implemented. And this structure is must needed, because whenever we're going to building our application, we're going to focus and follow through this ratio. And of course from here, no need to have that. So I'm going to use another p tag, and I will use the simple lorem 30 to just to pass some of the text. And over here, I will just make that one a class name, and padding should be 10. So first we're gonna check our font and other parameter. Also I can make that should be max width. Let's say max width 96. Now as you see, whenever I'm typing something for Tailwind CSS, and also you can see here, if you go to my extension right here, I have the extension which is required to let the Tailwind CSS work. I installed that one, and as you can see, we have the Tailwind CSS intelligence. But even though the Tailwind configuration is not working properly, and of course you need to install certain things, you can have the Paetier having good solution for it. You can also having ES7 React Native snippet. So also these things, if you implement it, okay, if you don't implement it, would also work. So now why this one is not working? Like if I put VJ rate 200, so this things is showing that if I save that, you can see the CSS is working. So means it's working. Also if I go over here, put the class name which going to be text LG, and let's say a font, we're gonna make it semi bold. This thing is working, you can see. And also put MB of 4, perfectly working, but we need to something to have that which can show in a proper way. And to do that, whenever if you just go in our package the JSON file, you can see we have the Tailwind CSS version 4. So that's the update, and here we need to implement one of the feature. You need to go in the settings, and over here just type Tailwind. Okay, and on that here, as you can see, there is a Tailwind CSS experiments class regex and the config file. I recommend you to open the config file, and over the config file you can okay, there is, you can have to see one Tailwind CSS experimental config file, which I'm just routing for my previous application styles to CSS. By default, they can access your entire route here. So my CSS file is right here as a globals.css. So either you can, if you keep it here, you need to run that app, then it can like get that CSS directory here. Now after running that, if I just put there, and let's say I'm gonna make a BJ rate, you can see now all the things is working perfectly and those things is coming. So these the things you need to implement, otherwise it will not work so far. So you need to just consider it, whichever root directory right here, put the root directory name. Then if you have subdirectory, like if you have the styles, then on the styles there is a Tailwind directory, then your globals to CSS file, then you need to just define the route on that, and that would be on that premises. Okay, so I think my app globals is working perfectly. Now over here, okay, I also no need this one. I think I'm gonna make that max width, let's say 3 axle. Yeah, that could be a little bit bigger. So now if I check the font, so as you can see, I have UI sans serif, but as what I showed before, this font is totally different font. So we need to configure the font. We need to have a pretty much good setup by which we can make a real prototype of our font configuration. And how we can do that? First of all, we need to have the font. So let's go in our Google Fonts to have our fonts. So Google Fonts, and over in the Google Fonts, we should have our font. Let's just search that one, which is Chat. So this font is not right here. If I just go Chat, no, not there. So I'm gonna just search in the internets. Okay, so right now, as you see, you have a font family. You just need to download from there. You can see here that Chat MS font family. You can simply go and download. So you can, like, if I just click on download for free, it will start downloading. And right now, as you see, I have that zip file. I need to like go and minify that, like unzip that one, then I should have my fonts ready. So how we can integrate that one? So what we're gonna do here in our root, as where the app is underlying, I will create a directory called fonts. Okay, so this is the file where we're gonna set the fonts to be implemented, and you just copy and just paste your font. You can rename it as a tribok.ttf file. So you can have the ttf file, or you can have the other variations of file, but you need to configure that you unzip it, and then after that you keep it. You can see that zip file is downloaded, and after unzipping, you can see, and that's the ttf file which I copied and paste. You can rename that. I keep it as like for that bigger, or I can just remove, and I can just copy and bring it right from here. So that's the one. So this is the font which we're gonna use, but how we can configure that? To configure the font, we're gonna use lots of fallback ratio in our mind to be commemorating and correspond on that. And the one thing is that we need to be configuring the font in our route, like in a global level. And to do that, we are gonna make that const, which gonna be, let's say, Chat font. So Chat, and that we are going to use that local font. So that's the one combination which we are looking forward. So within the local font, and that's the function which need to be imported from, as you can say, from next font local. So what we can do here, so we are just gonna make that import, and that would be local font from, and that should be why it's not coming? Okay, that's something is missing. Should be coming like that, next font local. So that's the combination, that's the route which going to be having that font. Now whenever we are having that local font, we need to provide the source, like the startup from where the font is coming. So we need to go within the directory called fonts. So I think something maybe we are missing. Local fonts / okay, let me, it's supposed to work properly, maybe my internet or some other parameter. Okay, so now as you see, you need to define as a variable called chat. Then you just define that local font, and within that function provide a object here which gonna define the source, and my source is right here, which is that fonts. And this thing's gonna work. Maybe my system is getting a little bit slower, then it's not engaging with that because I need to run a separate two local application is running in my PC, so maybe that's just jumping on that. So now this is the chat, so I need to streamline the font, so which is the trebug. So trebug.ttf, and the variable is that font chat display is swap. Right now, once we entertain that, as you can see, there is already the font UI sans serif. But if I just remove that, no, I think there is no, yeah, there is slight variation, but still the font is not on the line. Now here what we're gonna do, as you see in the body, so previously we had the fonts, but we need to implement our own fonts now, which is going to be a chat dot, and we're gonna pass that variable. So this is the variable which gonna contain the entire fragment to get the fonts. And of course we will also make some setup there. Then we need to go in our globals.css. So this is the CSS file where all the CSS combination and the parameter and the regime all gonna run it all together. So how we can configure our font right here. So this is the file by which the font can be according to get in that norm. So we're gonna fix to make the solution. So I'm gonna define a body. So let's say a body, or I can go with that at layer. Should be layer, and in the layer I'll go with the utilities. So within the utilities layer I will pass an object, and on that object I'm gonna go at that root. So I'm gonna access the root layer, and on that root layer I want to define the font. So that should be, let's say I'm going to provide with that font, and that font chat. So chat, and the font chat means I'm going to provide the variable, and over the variable I will need to go with the dot, and then should be font. This is not okay, I need to define it. Okay, this is not where the font, I need to define the font right here. So in the root and you define the font, so that should be chat, and you can also go and get that from the layout. So you need to be, no, that's not the actual name, so that's the name. So chat, and the font name is chat. Okay, chat ms, and the fallback is coming that sans serif. So it should be sans serif RIF. Okay, so that's the font for the root. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna engaging the entire body segment from there, and on the body I'll provide that font family, and the font family should be var, and there we can just simply get that font chat. And as you can see right here, if we just go and in the details, I'm having the chat fonts right here. So our font is working perfectly. We're having a very good capacity to run our entire application in that fragment. But before doing further, we need to also have something called that Shadcn UI. So that's the UI library which we're gonna pretty much gonna use to build lots of UI fragment, by which it can be really easy, especially the sidebar, top bar, and also the other layer. It will be very simple and easy to go through, especially whenever using the Shadcn UI with the Next.js. So we're not gonna have all together, we can like passing all together all the capacity we're gonna capture, or we can go with whatever we are needing. So over here I'm gonna open a new terminal here, and in the terminal I'm gonna just go with that npx, or I can go simply right here, as you can just Shadcn, and over here go to installation process here, and I'll go with the pick your framework. I'm using the Next.js framework, and also you can pick the framework, and also there is another combination here. I think nowadays, yeah, in the installation, okay, it's already the Tailwind CSS utilities is working perfectly. So you need to create the application, then you need to run that npx Shadcn at latest init. So I'll go with that npx at npx Shadcn latest, and I need to run the first command, which should be init. So that would be initializing overall the Shadcn parameter. I will say y, or even you put enter, it will take by default y. Whenever you need to put no, put just like you need to just cancel the terminal, then you're good to go. So I'll go with the neutral, and now it's gonna having install the dependency and a lot of other things. You can see my entire fragment is root and other, getting a lot of things dumping right here. You can see enter the base layer, we have that. So this is a lot of things it gonna capture. So this gonna be installing the dependency parameter, and you can see right here in the in my root directory there is a leaf folder is created because we provide the npx command, which giving permission to read, write, and do whatever they want. So now we have the utilities. If you go through the package, you can see there is a lot of package is just including. So what I want you to do, npmi, even though it's installed, but I want to go with the fresh build, to just click npmi, so that can, you see the cls, exclusive react, and next, and so many things they install. So you can just go with that. And right now, what if we just come over here, as you can see, they just crumble all together. And never mind if even it crumbles, so no worries. What is saying here, node modules doesn't exist, or not a directory. I will just close the terminal and I will make that npm run dev, because it's installed a lot of things and we made that npmi, but some way it's sometimes missing the parameter to go and extract all of those things. So you better have to done it in a proper way. Okay, so it's just compiling and compiled and everything is good to go. So now how we can install the things from there, you can see it's in the documentation. So like if I want to go and add a button, I need to just go, you can get the code and then you can run. So I need to copy that code here, which is npx Shadcn latest add button. So like that, add button, and it will add the button within the within, especially in the project, but it will not create any fragment. It's gonna provide the entire button UI, entire button code. You see the components, and in the UI we have that button.tsx. Now this is the button which we just created, and all the button variants, all the setup is right here. You can like edit it, you can divert it, you can do whatever you want to make it better. So first of all, I will just get the button. It's just simple, just get the button and then click me, and you can see we have one button here, click me. Now we can add a lot of things here. So now there is one command by which you can entire all of this project, all of this like add and then put all. Okay, so that will entirely add all, but I don't want to add all. I want to add like that. I want to add accordion, which is really needed. I want to add badge, and I want to add card, and then also carousel, which okay, carousel is needed. I think the carousel which we made, I think that could be not, yeah, is it required to have the carousel? I think, yeah, I think we are gonna use the carousel. Okay, I'm gonna have it. So we're gonna have the carousel, and then also we are going to have like for that category should be category dash selector. So now this is the one time you can put all, and it's up to you, but I want to go the specific whatever I need. So selector, and then also I need to have that checkbox, and after that collapsible. Perfect. Also I will use the command, and then I will use dialog. After that input level, and then also pop over. So should be okay, I missed something, pop over, and after that radio group. So should be radio group. Okay, and after radio group we're gonna have scroll area, and then select component, and also separator. And by the way, we also gonna having the table, we're gonna have the tabs and text area, and then also we will use that, let's say, tooltip. So I think the tooltip it will be, yeah, tooltip. So this is much the things we need. So I can just go and directly enter. And by the way, you can go with the all. That's gonna implement all of the things, but there is some deprecated things which I'm really not to require. So that's I'm just not gonna do on that. So there is something maybe I misspell. What is that? It's coming with that category selector. Category selector. I think the category selector is not there, which you need to create. This is not from there. It's my bad. So I'm just gonna remove that category selector. It doesn't have the category selector. That's the UI which we are going to create, because I keep it in the UI for directory, so I thought it's maybe also from there. So now I'm gonna just remove it and hit enter. So I'm gonna have this entire segment done by so far. And after doing that, we whatever the things we did, we initialized our application, we cleaned the application, we made the application clear, we set up our fonts. Now also we need to do some of the things. If we go especially on the just installing the dependency, so we will go in our globals.css, and over here we want to use some of the colors which going to be our custom colors, and those colors can be combined whatever the color combination we really want. So in the theme inline, or theme inline you can call, or you can just call it theme. I think wrote dark, yeah, theme inline is nowadays the call. So okay, one files, okay, button is so you can see all the accordion, badge, button, card. So whenever we are going to use that particular button or particular product, then I'm going to explain what the things is inside there. So right now you just go have it all together. So let's go in our globals.css, and especially over here in the inline. So over here we're gonna go with that custom CSS. So custom color. Okay, so I'm gonna just keep the custom color here, and also I can make custom color in, just to having a good references. How you can have the custom color? You can put the dash dash, then you need to put the color. Now let's put the color of the tech underscore it's not like that, tech underscore bg underscore color. Okay, that should be the tech background color. Put hash, and then f2, f4, f8. So that would be the color for our background application. So you need to define like that way. So what I'm gonna do, as it's just a CSS combination here, I'm gonna go and provide that all the colors. So this is the colors we're gonna use: bj color, orange, white, black, dark, light yellow, blue, purple, and purple. Oh, purple. What's the ple? Yeah, le. Purple. Light green, dark red, and that's the, I think that's the light green, that's the lighter green. So just we combine the name. I'm gonna keep it all together. Then we're gonna have dark red, dark color, light color. So this is the combination you're gonna use. Not all the colors may be required, but I'm gonna keep that segment. If whenever we are needing, we can just easily use that. So this is the color combination which we are going to have the motto. Now if we go back here, as you can see, that's the setup. That's the entire application layer is done here. So first of all, we're gonna have our header, then all the blending part and others. So first of all, what I'm gonna do, as you see the page right here which we are seeing, I want to drag it in the client. I'm gonna drop it in the client ratio, so that it's gonna be handling all together in the client segment. Whenever I move, you can see everything is working here. All the input, all the segment is right here. So in that client segment here, I'm also gonna create a layout. Okay, so over here in the client, I'm gonna having a root layout. So should be layout.tsx, and that's the layout going to be root layout. So you're gonna just create a simple function, export default, and that should be an asynchronous function, or you can also just make a simple function, because if we're not gonna explore the medium. And then I need to pass that as a root layout, and within the function we're gonna define our object and other. First of all, we need to go and provide the, so that would be okay, so that would be the prop strips. So we can just define that, and from here we're gonna return a simple, like say simple fragment here. Let's say I'm gonna, first of all, we're gonna create a header here. So that would be the header, and that would be that footer. So header and footer are going to be combined here to showcase in our app. So like the header and footer, they're also going to be the children property, we can say. So like the children. So those are the combinations. So the header, footer, and below that we're gonna having our other combination. and we're gonna create this entirely to make that things happen and properly work together in inline combination. So first of all, we need to go and put a certain kind of scenario by which we can make it look much more better and clearer. So to do that, first of all, let's go in the components. I'm gonna create in the components, gonna create another folder which gonna be header, where all the header component or header parameter are going to be look alike. So I'm gonna create a file which will be header.tsx, and I will just run that command rafce, which going to be running from React Native snippet. As you can see, I have that extension running, what I told you about ES7, React Redux, React Native snippets, which can just create you like that component layer. Or if you doesn't like to have that, you can just make that one just const header, and then as it's just going to be a simple functional component, we're gonna just return, let's say return a div, and here we're gonna just return the header, and after that we will make that export default, and let's say header. That's it. You can do it similarly like that. So this is the variation how you can just go through it to go and implement that. So first of all, this is the client component right here. So what I want it to do, because the client component gonna have header and footer, but for the out component, it doesn't gonna have header and footer and at all. So those are the things we need to keep in mind. So first of all, over here, I will pass that our header component should be header and import from components. And as you can see, header coming from the header. And for this children, because the children gonna be coming as a property, so as a prop, so we will just define that children going to be coming from there, and children should be, let's say children actually gonna coming from as a I think we can just simply pass that children. So that is the children over here, and we can pass on like, yeah, we can go through that. We can just make it only read only. So read only, and here we can pass the empty braces, and over here we can pass our children parameter. So should be children, which is react.react nodes. So those are the combination layer. I think read only should be y. Okay, and over here, instead of that, we're gonna just render our entire children property. So below that, whatever the pages is coming right now, as you see, the ShopTech e-commerce application, this is the particularly that's the page is rendering. So now we are having our header, and by the way, also we can combine it to go through together to just go and focus our footer to be combine it and align it all together. So we can nearly bring all of the segment here to go and put our combination by so far. So what I'm gonna do, so as far as we're gonna have the footer, so header gonna have a multiple area, so I'm gonna just grab another folder, so that's gonna be all our common file to be underlying there, and over here I'm gonna have one footer.tsx rafce, so that would be our footer component. Let's go to our client, and over here instead of that, I'm gonna pass our footer. Okay, so this is a variation, this is the combination how we gonna just showcase our application layer. Now as you see, I have here auth client admin, but I doesn't have any page in the root. But by mistake, if you keep anything in the root, then let's say this is the main page, so then your main page gonna appear, and it gonna, as you see, the main page gonna render, because this is the gonna be a particularly the main page. So then you need to go / other parameter to go and take that. So I'm not gonna keeping any page right here, because that's the client page which I will make it as the main page. So now I am gonna have our header, so close other, so we're gonna go work with the header. So before going further ado, so as you see, this is the layer which is the base mark. So I'm gonna go on my, let's say I'll go on my main page here to do some of the tricks to go there. Yeah, I need to work with the client, and I'll go in the client page here. So this would be my client page. So over here in the client, that's the page. So now what I'm gonna do, as you see, I have my client scenario here. So I'm gonna just make that, I'm gonna remove everything. Okay, then I'm gonna comment through. I need to make our home banner, so that would be our home banner, and after that also need to be home categories. So as you can see, home categories. After that, it's gonna having the product grid, so the products, let's say products grid. And after that, it gonna also having a certain position, which is going to be, let's say, shop by brands, and the last one should be latest blogs. So this is the combination layer which we're gonna use, as you can see. So we're gonna have our banner, we're gonna have our category segment, we're gonna having our products, we're gonna have our blog, and that's it. So we're gonna go in that fashion, within that manner, and in that layer. So now, as you can see, we have our header. So let's go over here. I'm gonna just go and make some clarity here. So I'm gonna provide a background color, let's say BG, and the background color should be take BJ color. So that's the color we're gonna use. And also the padding bottom should be 10 upon this segment. So padding bottom 10. So now, as you can see, there is a portion which gonna implementing that as the scenario. So you can see, you can simply notice that. So now we are going to, I'm gonna remove the button, which is, and you need to be very careful upon starting building the project. So whenever your application, you're building application, you need to be careful the unnecessary imports, the import which you are not using, you need to remove. So I'm going to just keep it that home page, just to go with the flow. So home page. So now I will go start working with the header. Now header going to be having a pretty good combination here. As you can see, we have our logo, we have our search bar, shop, TV deal, and the card and account. So those are the components layer we need to implement. So first of all, to do that, we can go with a set, and also the responsiveness, we're gonna go and build it all together. You can see those the clickable responsiveness, we need to go and make it through from the beginning. So I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Okay. So over here, how we can start. First of all, as you can see, instead of div, I'm gonna keep it as a header tag. So HEAD header. So that could be a good SEO whenever you're gonna jumping through. And also in the common, I'm gonna create another folder which going to be as a container. So that container going to be combining especially to go and restructure our component library. So we're gonna go with our breakpoint and all the segment. So this will be the segment by which we can go and make initially all the things gonna be done together. So go RAFCE, not like that, should be RAFCE. Yes. Now over here in the component, we're gonna take some things. This React import, you can remove it, which is not requiring at all. So we're gonna just go past something called interface, which gonna coming as a props. And in the interface, there would be coming the children, which gonna be React.React node. And after that, also it gonna be coming that class name. So class name, it should be optional, and that should be coming as a string. So these two parameters are gonna come by props. Now we need to set the props right here so that we can access that within our application, and that could be just coming from the props. And as coming from the props, we're gonna take the two things, which is going to be children and also another going to be the class name. So over here in the middle, we're gonna pass everything as the children. So all the children it's gonna render within this parameter. And also on the div right here, we need to make the design in that way so that we can establish our property in a very good manner. First of all, you're gonna put a class name, and remember when we are using that Shadcn UI, we are having that CN file over there, which actually making two contexts together, which is parsing that CLSX and TW march to just minimizing any conflicts coming up from that Tailwind CSS styles and other properties. So right now, what I'm gonna do here in that property, so as we parsing the CN, I'm gonna go and make that as a max should be width. Okay, I need to configure again for the Tailwind CSS. So the max width, it can be coming with, we can just simply pass that as a screen. So should be, let's say screen Excel. And if we go over here, that Excel is 80 RAM, but if we make the 2 Excel, because I want to have that as a, okay, it's 1536. So I will take that Excel, which is 1280 pixel. That is a very good combination to pass on that ratio. And also I will make that as a MX auto. So everything gonna be in the middle. So should be MX auto, and also padding X should be 4. So this is a typical things we are giving providing the class name, which is gonna be get an initial, but then I'm gonna also pass the class name, which we can divide and pass that within a property of coming as a prop. So this can be legitimately align it all together. So what I'm gonna do right now is to go back to my header. So in the header, as you see, the header gonna be as for the header combination. Then I'm gonna take my container and also import it from the actual path, otherwise it gonna conflict with the error. So over here, let's just put a there should be we can just go with, there would be a logo. Then we could be coming with for that search bar. So search bar, and after the p tag there could be, let's say, offers, and after another p tag it will be deal. Then it will be also for that, let's say, cart icon, and after the last one it should be account. I'm just keeping that one, but we're gonna make it in a very good way. So as you can see, this everything is passing. If I just go and make a class name, let's say bj rate of 200, you can see right here, this is the exact portion which we made over here within that parameter, which is can typically go through all together to make this align it and go possibly make that together in a set. And also, as you can see, by the way, this responsiveness also we need to implement in all together. So let's go back here. We need to make it better. And so what we're gonna do, first of all, that one, it will be by default it going to be flex, and item should be center, and justify should be not the baseline, it should be less passing width between. And also we're going to provide a gap of 5 in case there is a gap ratio right here. You can see all are passing all together, but as you see, everything going to take the certain position. And as you can see, also the search bar going to be taking a lot of deals on that scenario. But we're gonna make that happen in very good fashion. So first of all, put a class name at the top, and I'm gonna make a padding y of 5. So you're gonna see it's gonna parsing that like top bottom padding. And by the way, if you hover over the class name, you can get actual class name what we are using, the padding block, which is coming with spacing into 5, which is the 20 pixel top bottom padding layer is coming. Okay, so now as we are having that padding portion, so we can now go and make that, let's say bj should be take black, I think, or we can make that take dark. And also text should be take white, take underscore white, yes. And we're gonna make the text with 80% opacity. And right now, as you can see, we have the text is ready and done. And also this should be an sticky, so we can just simply make that as a sticky, and the top should be 0, so it will be always stick to the top. And also for the background, I'm going to make a backdrop blur, so backdrop blur, which is going to be as an MD. And what it's gonna do, remember, if you see here, whenever we are hovering, there is a backdrop blur is coming, but we are not using that. You can just go and make in a certain ratio, but we're gonna show you how you can do and implement that one. Okay, or I can just pass it through. I can just go whenever I'm using that time I'm gonna showcase to you. So now let's go and work with the logo. So yeah, but we gonna have to have I'm gonna go and make that. So I'm gonna just take a div over here. Okay, so that's the one which going to be logo. And also there would be another portion which should be a mobile menu, remember. So you need to understand the concept right here. So if you can see in the mobile, there is a logo is coming, otherwise it's not working in that way. So we need to go and combine this entire thing. But before that, I'm going to go and extract the logo and other parameter which can be really helpful for us. So first of all, to get the logo, how we can do, so I'm going to go over here, and in my common, I'm going to create another file called logo.tsx rafce. So that's the file which going to hold my logo, but I'm going to just comment that one right now. And over here, I'm going to just import my logo from my logo. So now, as you can see, I have my logo. So I need to extract a lot of data right here. And by the way, I will provide all of the images, as I said that every images I'm using here, you're going to have it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy my images folder from my file, and then I'm going to paste it at the middle. So as you can see, I have my images here. And if you just go a little bit deeper on the images, you can see every single image optimization was the image. We can see the banner 1, banner banner 2, banner 3, and the small banner. Entire image portion is right here. We have the brands image, so all the brands image you can just grab from here. We have the categories image for the categories, accessories, and others. We have the products image, so old products data here, even the new and old. So I'm just mixing it all together so you can use that. And also whatever the images I'm using, a static image, as you see, we are using that banner 1 2 3, small banner, PayPal logo, and also empty card and logo. So these are, I think these are 7 images which are going to be having static. So as you can see, that's the logo and others. So you can just find all the things right here. We have the logo image, we have the payment image. So it's up to you if you can use that one or if you're going to use your own images. And by the way, the repository link, it will be there, and if you cannot find and how you can find it, the link, this website link, it will be in the description. And as you can see, for that ratio, that Shoptech e-commerce, you just click here, and after that it's gonna be passing you to the details page, and all the link, if you click on GitHub, it will take you to the GitHub link. If you click on live, you're gonna just view on the live portal and others. So this is the portion where from where you can get the actual scenario, even the YouTube link. Like if you just watch one video, if you cannot find another video, all the playlist, like whatever the video is available for this particular project, all gonna be rendering on that tab. So you can simply get that. And also you can purchase the premium code if you, I already explained, but if you're missing that, you can just simply hold back. I'm gonna just provide that link in the description so you can have it perfectly. Okay, so now as I said, I'm gonna provide everything. So let's just go in the logo, and we're gonna just make some certain scenario which can make really good to go. So first of all, we're not gonna take the div, we're gonna use the link tab here, and that link gonna contain an image. So that should be image, and we're gonna use the next image. And from here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the search source, which going to be logo. As you can see, I imported it from the image as we just extracted extracted there in the logo. I think where's the logo? If I just go images, index, yes, yeah, that's the logo. That's where we import it in default way. Okay, the source is a logo, and also I'm gonna put an alternative tag which going to be a logo, and also put a class name. Right now I'm gonna put something like that, and href should be, it gonna always take back to our home. It's a big logo, we don't want to be like that. So what we want, we're gonna use the cn, and over here first of all I'm gonna provide the width full. Okay, should be cn, and then width should be full. Okay, that's basically the full width is taking, but as you see in the link here, I'm going to provide the actual width of 42. So it's going to take the parent full width and height. So in that way it can be more easily like counter interpreted. So that could be very good to do in that way. Okay, but as we did that, it's not taking the, okay, if we just make that 42 here, is it taking? Yeah, it's taking from there, but it cannot take from that link parameter. Anyway, if it cannot take, I think better we're gonna just pass that right here. So okay, and also we're gonna take another parameter which is going to be, let's say, class name, and we can pass the class name as a props. Instead of writing at the top, we can also simply just provide that within the scope parameter, and after that we can also pass that class name. So this is our logo, and that class name, it should be optional. Either anyone can provide, or it can be go and empty. Now over here, what you can do here, if you want to pass any class name, you can just pass whatever the class name you want. And as you can see, it's just taking the heat to get the proper directory and the proper product. So that's the one which we have. Right now we're gonna come with the mobile menu. So I'm gonna skip that shuttle because we're gonna do it, but not right now. So what we can do here, now if we just go in some other page which we doesn't have it, as you can no, the header is not defining. Anyway, okay, we're gonna sort it done. So now after that we have the logo, we need to have this entire segment. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take within a div here, because I need to use a lot of scenario to make it better. So as you can see, all are crashing all together. So what I'm gonna do, put a class name, I'm gonna make a flex, and the item should be center, and gap should be 5, and whenever you're gonna LG, flex should be 1. Okay, so LG screen, it's gonna take the entire setup. So as you can see, you can see that, so this is not justified between, right? But once it's LG screen, it's getting that, it's getting like putting all the things, like it's gonna take entire space from there. So that's what we introduce here. If you just go at the small screen, we are having only 3 buttons, but if you go at the bigger screen, we are having that entire ratio. So this is what we are making by so far. Now, as you see, this is the top layer of our header, which we don't want to make it as a client component because we want to make our header as a server component. So whatever the client side interactivity we need to put on, we need to do it. So we're gonna make it within a separate component layer. We're gonna make it in a separate portion by which we can really adapt and really make that happen to be in that way. So what we're gonna do right now, I'm gonna just go and make that so this will be my search bar. So I'm gonna go and over here, let's say in header, I'm gonna create another file which going to be, let's say, search bar.tsx rafce. So that would be my search bar, and over here I can take simply search bar. So you can see the search bar is right here, and after search bar we also gonna take one more file which going to be offers.tsx. so rfce should be offers, then one more, and that could be deal.tsx rfce, that could be deal. And trust me, whatever component I'm taking separate, this having a purpose. So you're gonna see it in a very soon. So rfce, so we're gonna have the card icon, and the last one going to be, let's say, account.tsx and a rafce. Okay, so now we are having almost all of our component ready. So instead of that offers, we're gonna simply pass that offers tab, and also for the deal we're gonna just get that deal, and for the cart icon going to be, let's say, cart icon, and for the account it's going to be account. So now we are having all of our things done. We have search bar, offers, deal, cart icon, and account. Now first we're gonna just sit back to go work with the search bar, and of course we are not going to implement all of those things because there would be a server-side rendering. So we're gonna do almost all of that, whatever we needed. Then whenever we are going to implement our mechanism for our backend structure, then we're gonna just pass it. So our first attempt is right now is to provide the design layer. So we're gonna go with header, we're gonna go with the banner, and then also we're gonna go with the footer, and after that we're gonna implement our for our sanity for our data set, and after that we can just go, because this is very simple and static, simple, and whenever you have data you can just align it all together. So right now what we can do, we need to work with the search bar. Let's go in the search bar, and I think, yeah, so we are in the search bar. So what's gonna happen to be in the search bar? So first of all, we need to make that search bar in a very good and a very good looking and very good fashion. So this is my div here, and as you can see in the search bar, when I am searching something, you see that button is coming, otherwise it's on, I place it somewhere else, it's just removing. So this is the functionality we're gonna implement. So first of all, we're gonna just put a class name. I'm gonna make it as a relative, and it should be LG. It's gonna take the full weight in purposes, and after that we're gonna also make a from here. So should be, let's say, from, and in the from there should be no action tab right now, but we're gonna make it on submit provider, and then we're gonna having a class name. We're gonna make it as a relative, and then we're gonna make it hidden. And whenever we are in that particular MD screen, so or we can say LG screen, we're gonna make it flex, item should be center. So right now you're gonna see here, this is offers the search bar. If I just put something ABC or ABD, you can see ABD because it's taking the entire space. As you can see, the width is full in LG screen, or you can make it flex 1, and you can see whenever it's smaller screen it's disappear. So that's the one which we are implementing to get that. Okay, so right now I'm gonna make it side by side so you can see it it's a bit clear way. So now what we can do within the from property, we need to have an input. So we're gonna have an input. did we have input here? So input from the UI input, and over here in the input I'm gonna make it a placeholder which going to be search dot dot dot. So this is the search. You see this parameter is in the as a search, and after that we're gonna also provide some class name to make it more legit and better. So let's provide the class name over here. Okay, and the class name would be, we're gonna make some class name which going to be the flex one, and I'm gonna just go and grab the class name because most of the time the class name would be the similar as just for providing the class property, and you can change the class name the way you feel it better. So it's the design parameter is up to you, but there is no worries for that because all the code it will be provided to you, so you can toggle that through. So what I did, that we are making that one as a flex one, so it's gonna take this entire width from that full width property. We're gonna make it rounded MD, padding Y is 5, focus visible is ring 0, and focus visible which gonna be border take orange. So we are just going to be making that, and background color take white, text is take dark, and placeholder font semi-bold, and placeholder tracking white padding R is 16. And why we are making that padding R is 16, if you go right here, as you can see, I will just type something, and now as you can see there is a gap. And why we are looking forward to have that gap is also be a very simple and a proper manner. So what we're gonna do here right now, we're gonna have to state here, and before taking that I'm gonna make it as a use client so that we can easily amplify that to parameter. So first of all, this parameter going to be, let's say there should be a to state which going to be search, and then it's gonna be set search, SEARCH, okay, and that should be coming from use state property, and by default going to be empty. So now that could be coming up to build up all of this parameter. And by the way, I'm gonna, as you see, if I type something and hit enter, there is a default parameter is running from the from. So what we need to do, we need to disable that one. So on submit, we will just simply run that a function which going to be e.prevent default. So even right now if we are typing something and hit, you see it's not taking, but we will implement that feature whenever we are requiring, but we'll just now disabling the from right now, which is because we are not using the functionality. So right now after that we need to also have lots of parameter. The value should be search. Okay, so whatever we are typing, the value combined should be search, and on change property, and on change means whenever we are writing something is changing the parameter. So every single type we typing something is changing the value. You can make console log and then you can have it. So whenever we are on changing, we can take the event E, and what I said, you can make console log, you can make that, let's say console log, and that should be, let's say E. So we can now, okay, I need to remove that so we can see the event. So if we go and inspect the console right here, and if we just go and start typing, I'm going to remove everything, start typing something, you see we're having that. So that's from there we can just type that e.target.value property, and in the value it's gonna be combining the data, whatever we are typing, you can see is typing. So whatever the typing, and the typing is not showing because we have the search value that's actually making the, because we doesn't have any search value property, you can see right now, or we have the data is ready for us. So we can just go and passing the value, and what I'm gonna do, instead of console log, we can just simply pass that set search property, which going to be that e.target.value. So now as also we are we can also make on focus property. So on focus, and whenever we're gonna focus on that particular tag here, we also make that one, we can just make that show results property, so that can be make things done. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and grab all of those parameter which we are going to implement within that ratio. So I'm gonna just grab it. So you can just put a little bit of you can just post the video, and then you can just have to be grab it all together. So we have have now getting that search. We have that product, set products. We have loading, set loading, which is by default is false. The products we're gonna get from our database, and also the results which you are making true, false. Featured products and set featured products, because remember, once we are just clicking, there should be a featured products data. Right now it doesn't have the data, so we cannot show, but that's all the things going to be implemented. And also the search ref, we are having the reference, and the reference going to be managing for, as you see, we are clicking outside, it's disappearing. That's the reference going to work on that. And also the mobile input reference, so all the properties is going to be implemented. So right now for this on focus property, what we can do is that set show results, and that one it's gonna be true. So whenever we are focusing on the input, the show results should be implemented. And after that, as we make that relative dip, what we're gonna do, if we have that search and then we want to render something, so if we have the search, we're gonna render a X icon. If we doesn't have the search, we're gonna render a search icon. Okay, right now you can see there is the icon is outside of the parameter, but we can equalize to make it in a good way to be in center. Okay, that's I think instead of we can combine, you can separate it in a very different way, but I think that's not so bad. Okay, so right now what we need to do for the X icon, as you can see, whenever we're gonna click on that particular X icon, we want that to be set, that search value should be empty, so there should be nothing in the search. And also we need to provide some of the class names so that we can see it properly. So put a class name, and that could be which should be 5, height should be 5, and also I'm gonna make it an absolute property. And from there, right should be 3, and also from top should be 2.5, and then we will make that text should be okay. That's really to go with a bit of Notion. So what I recommend you need to have those one for the for particularly for the search tag, and this one for no, those previously for that the tag of the cross icon, and then for the search icon. So right now you can see it just amplifying, which absolute right 3, top 3. So you need to adjust. If you see it's better for right 6, then you need to match those things. But for me, I think the right 3 is working. So all the class names which I'm providing right here, this I tested and is working perfectly. So you need to test your own property, the way it can be better, the way it can be fixed, and that way it can be sweet. And so if you already do something very unique and very fantastic, also provide the link in the comments so we can see, and we can also visualize and highlight about your projects. So right now if you type something, as you can see, there is a cross button. You click, it's disappear. You click, it's disappear. So now those the functionality which we are, this is just a tiny bit of functionality which right now we have, and of course we're gonna come back to make some more, but right now I'm gonna just go to make that still. I think now I'm gonna go to start offer property, because the other functionality to implement that, we should have our data. So right now it doesn't have data, and for that offers, which is going to be simply as a link, we can just simply pass that here. And also for the deal, we can also simply pass it here, as we just gonna be passing that two together. So either you can keep it here, but for the cart icon, for the account, there should be a state property which we need to make it client. So as I past that all setting a separate component, so I think it's wise to just put that through, but you can keep it here if you are looking forward to it. So now for the offers tab, we also need to have instead of that link, we gonna div, we're gonna use that link property, and that link should be coming through that href, which going to be passing that to /shop, and over here we're gonna pass a gift icon, and after that we're gonna having a div, and on the div we're gonna have an h4 which say shop, and then we're gonna have a p tag which will be saying latest offers. So this is the combination which it gonna be, but from there it should be look similar like there. So we need to align that how we want it to make it look like better. So first of all, as you can see, put a class name. By default, I don't want it to be seen. Only in LG screen it should be coming as a flex. An item should be center, and also putting a gap of 2.5, and after that we also want to make it, let's say justify should be end, and then we're gonna make it also a group. So now right now you can see this coming two together. But for the gift icon over here, put a class name. The text should be take orange, so should be take orange. And then I'm gonna make it a, whenever we're gonna hovering on that group, so group hover, I want it to be, the text should be underscore underscore should be, let's say, take white. Yes, take white. And also, as you can see, whenever we are hovering, as you can see, this coming very quick, which we don't want. So I'm going to go with in a global CSS file here. So over here we can just pass that. As you can see right here, we have the layer base. So we can just simply go and implement our hover effect component layer, or the functionality which we are looking forward to it. So first of all, I want it to be having a certain position. As you can see, it's the layer base. So I'm gonna go and remove that. I'm gonna using those of the things. So one should be the border amplifying, background amplifying, the hover effect, which is the duration 300, is the in out, transition all, and cursor pointer. And the button also by default gonna take the cursor pointer, is the in out, which gonna just make that effect is better. So I'm gonna copy that hover effect, and over here I'm gonna just pass that hover effect. So right now if we go here, and as you can see, very simple and very quick. That's the implementation which we are looking forward. Now every file, everywhere we can use it, and that will work perfectly the way we are looking forward. And for the gift also, I think we are missing that some of the width height, so I'm gonna provide 6 by 6. Is it coming? No. Okay. Anyway, we will find that why it's not going through, but we're gonna go first to make that one should be a flex and flex column. So it's gonna be side by side. Right now it's coming on that flex property, so no need to be amplifying that. But for the h4 tag, we can make the class name text should be, let's say, text going to be as a base text. And then we're gonna make that font should be, let's say, bold, and also text should be take underscore, not the VJ color but the white. And so this is the one. And for the latest offers, put a class name, text should be extra small, and then white space should be no wrap. So it could be just easily removing all the white space. So now as you can see, it's providing in a shape the way we are looking forward. And group over, you see how the way it changes. You can also change the color if you wanted to, but it's up to you. I'm going to show that to you. If you just want to make that, so you can make that, let's say, group over, text should be, let's say, shop underscore, is it coming with the, no, not the shop, should be take underscore, why there is text take, yeah, should be something like that. So now you can see, oh but this is not really good for your eyes, so the user can be confused by that. So I think this one parameter can be good to have that. So right now we are having okay, we are having only one. Okay, so what I can do, I can copy the entire segment, right? And right now after I copied, I can go simply what we have that, so we finish the offer, we have the deal here, we can now pass it to our deal. So in the deal, what's going to happen, instead of gift, we're gonna be having a job icon, and also we need to import the link, and instead of the shop, we need to combine that to go in a deal screen. And over here we can just simply make that, let's say, TV deal, so that would be the offer of the deal. And over here we're gonna make that special, and that could be combining two deals. So now we're having the deals. So as you can see, okay, we are missing something maybe. So okay, did I miss something? So this is the href, which is going to be hidden, justify and make it a group. Oh, okay, you see that link is coming from that Lucid React, but the link should be coming from the next link. So this is, you need to be very careful once you are working certain kind of project that can mess around, so you need to be careful. Now you're going to have the card and then you're going to have the account. So these the two things going to be. Now even you come in the smaller screen, you see these two just disappearing. So I think we are in a good position to have entertain the other parameter. So for the card icon, there should be a certain position where the card icon can hold. Also the card icon going to be combined a link, so I'm going to go and provide that. I think we will use, yeah, we'll use in a different way, so that could be, or we can also simply use that entire things which is coming for there. Then we can just change some of the portion where we are not requiring that. So this the property which going to be, so the gift, it should be not something like that. I'm going to remove this entirely. Over here I'm going to provide a spend tag, and over in the spend tag going to be a shopping bag. Yeah, you can use the shopping bag. Hit that. So right now you can see there is the shop and latest offer is right there. So the link going to be defining that for the cart going to be implemented. And for the shopping bag, I think the similar property going to be there for the, yeah, the tech, the same property which we provide. So the same combination is right there. And for there is the spend tag is right here. Then within the spend property, so this is I can just simply make that as a self-closing spend. Okay, not like that, I think. Yeah, so after okay, after that span, immediate span, we can just go also make that span as a separate positioning. We can make it as a relative. Okay, so after that we can also include another span tag, and here I'm gonna make it 0. As we did that, you can see the 0 is just visualizing there, but it should be coming at the top of that particular icon. So what we can do right now, we're gonna make that class name, I'm gonna make it an absolute, as we made it relative, so it's gonna be within that property. And also minus top should be, let's say 1, and also make that minus right should be 1, not 0 but 1, and bg should be take right. I think take orange, it will be preferable, or no, take orange maybe, yeah, and take should be take underscore white, yeah, take white. So if we do that, as you can see, it's just crushing it all together. But I will make that as a height of 3.5, and we'd also make that 3.5. And after that, we're gonna make that rounded should be full, so it's gonna be entirely round. Text should be extra small, and after that, we're gonna make that font should be a semi-bold, so it can easily be recognizable. Flex item center, justify center to keep that within the property in the middle. So right now, as you can see, we have that. If we just go over here, you can see, yeah, that's the same combination, that's the same property align which we are dealing through. If we just make 3, you can see the same property, same engagement is happening right there. But after that, for this particular, we can just simply make that it's gonna be card, and also it's gonna passing that view card. That's it. Now I keep that 2 letter as a small, but you can also make that one a bigger. Similar, just simply make that as a capitalized parameter, should be capitalized. If you wanted to, it could be individually bigger. So you can just click on view card. Then we have one more portion is there, which is called account. So I can remove this globals is not there, card icon done, logo done. So we can just simply go start within working with our account. Also in the account, it will not be that much combination layer by so far. So what we can do for the account is here. Right now, what we can do is just simply bringing that, let's say, deal. Okay, I'm gonna just bring, I'm gonna copy that entire portion, and right now I'm gonna paste it. Okay, and here instead of here, it's gonna just go through account / account, and I'm gonna specify why I made 2 accounts. Of course, we're gonna amplify that one when we are building our accounts property. And right now, what we're gonna pass that a user icon. Okay, a user icon, that's it. And over here, it's gonna just go through let's say account. Okay, account, and over here right now I have the account, so I'm gonna go logged out, and then I'm gonna see what's yeah, login and register. So right, it's coming a special offer, so instead of a special offers, it's gonna simply pass that login and register text. And of course, whenever we are gonna having our users data done, that time it's gonna be coming with a combination. And by the way, if you want to do it also, you can use that like if you can just want to use the parameter for the tools to generate the JSONs to go and use your special user, so you can just make that JSON generator, and you can now create your user. So you can just create, and then you can use it for the users. You can just go through an object. So now whatever the ID, name, email, avatar, age, so whatever the data, you can add the data here. Like I want that user, instead of this ID, I remove that. I want that ID should be underscore ID, which is a string. I'm gonna add that. Then also it's gonna be, let's say the name, it will not be there, should be first name, and then it's gonna be last name, which gonna be string. Enter. So you can see email, avatar, and of course these three together should be at the top. So you can bring the ID and also bring the first name, and also bring that your last name over here. So if just now you generate, you now having an user data here. You can copy that data, and then you can use it as your user data permission, so that it can combine it all together. So that's how easily you can use it and just combine within your application layer. So now we are having almost all together. We did a very good, fantastic job. There is one certain positioning which we're gonna do right now before going to be in passing. See, whenever we are just capturing this tree menu is coming, and also right now we are having an empty menu list, so we doesn't have anything right now. So what we need to do, we need to implement that certain position. Of course, before that we need to go through certain motion here. So how we can do that one? So we gonna show the icon for our search. So first we're gonna go and make that search to looks the similar way, the way we want to show the icon property. So how we can do that, especially in the search right now, we are having a very big form which is going to be hidden whenever the smaller screen is gonna come back. So what we can do right now is that we can animate the search to go and make in a bigger screen, and to implement that we can now provide a search property to be in for the larger screen. So as you can see here, whenever we click in the search, our menu is coming, there is a cross button. Also if you click somewhere, it will disappear. So that's the cross button here. You can now search here, you can click, it's disappear. So that's the two combination we need to amplify here. So what I'm gonna do right now, as we are having here, so we can just put a comment here for the, let's say, mobile search, mobile search bar. So for the mobile search bar, we can just have a button here, and within the button we're gonna have an X icon. Okay, and then like we can combine here. If we have the show search here, so means we are willing to have to show the search, then we're gonna parsing that cross icon, and otherwise it's gonna be having that, let's say, search icon. So these two combination going to disappear. You see the search icon is right here. And also what we're gonna do for we're gonna make an on click function here, and we can just make that a toggle mobile search functionality. So what we can do, we can simply just click that toggle let's say mobile search. So that's the function which we're gonna call at the top. So here it's gonna be const toggle, or you can just simply like that, and over here just like that. So the function is gonna be appear. Now what we can do, we can make something, but the problem is that once we go in the bigger screen, it's right there, so we need to hide that. So what we can do here, we can provide some of the class name, and LG we're gonna just make it as hidden. Okay, and margin top should be 1.5 to just properly align in spaces. That's it. Now also for the X icon, we can just provide some of the class name to make it look certainly better. So that could be the property for this, and also for the search icon, similar props and other data layer. So that is the similar over here. So what is getting here for the X icon, width is 5, height is 5, which is around 20 pixel, text white, hover, text take orange, and hover effect. So you can see the similar combination is right there. You can just make that in a top bottom. You can see now we are having that cross icon. Now we need to write the function to see the combination. So what we can do, first of all, set show search. So whenever we're gonna click on that, it should be like not show search, which we can say as a false property we can do. And also if we have that no show search property, then we can also utilize something which the receives the search when opening. So set search, it should be empty. And why we are doing that, I can just pass the comment here, which would be receipt search when opening. So that's one thing it's gonna do. And also it should be passing that, let's say it will combine that show results DIATLY when opening search, and that could be set okay, should be show search results should be true. So that's the combination gonna be combined. If I click here, you see, okay, click here, click here. If the menu is right here, you can see a lot of data. So right now, okay, that's really cool. So we can also make that like the from here. You can see right here when we click, there is a from is coming. We can combine that search products from. You can do it, and if you want me, yeah, right now we can just pass that data layer, but I think we will do it later on. So we're gonna have the data. So we have the search. And after the search, we are going to have one more, which is going to be the card. So let's go in the card icon. And in the card icon, also we need to find out where and when it's gonna be there. So we're gonna not make that hidden altogether. Okay, you can see all the data gonna be right here. I'm gonna make it that particularly this one as hidden. So that should be hidden, and LG should be flex. So we are having that one. So after that, we're gonna also have our account, and in the account the same thing's going to happen. So this could be line all together, and here should be hidden, and LG gonna be mentioning that should be double D. That's it. So now we are having that 3 data portion layer is done. Okay, why okay, that's okay, so that is the portion. Yeah, if we go here, okay, okay, we can use a different kind of logo, I think so, instead of making that. So I'm gonna go backward. I think that would be better. So I'm gonna just go and make another div. Okay, or we can just simply, because whenever we are gonna click on that, the certain kind of functionality it's gonna access. So we can now render a separate particularly a separate tab which is going to be doing our purposes. So after that, I'll just get that one. Okay, and it should be okay. I think I took the different one. I think this one going to be there. Yeah, if we just go backward, you can see the similar functionality, and LG text group hover, text orange. I'm gonna just go and make that not in group hover. I'm gonna just make that, let's say, hover. Text should be tech. Okay, where we missed something, instead of group hover, I can just simply pass that hover. Yeah, okay. So now we have 2 things. So what we need to do right now is to create the other functionality. What you can see it right here, there should be the menu button. So right now we are not having any menu. So we're gonna go in our header to go and complete the last portion here, which for right now is gonna be the last portion, but of course the other property gonna be coming one by one whenever we're gonna dealing with the data layer. So what we're gonna do for this one, we're gonna having a separate which gonna be passing that a mobile menu component. Okay, so we're gonna go and create the component. So that should be mobile menu.tsx. Okay, so that's the menu which gonna combine whatever the data and whatever the scenario we are looking forward. So now you can see there should be side by side. So what I'm gonna do, put a class name, and then it's gonna be a flex item should be center, and particularly justify should be between. No, I'm not gonna go in the between center, and then justify should be start, and I'm going to provide a gap a 2.5, and then I'm going to make that MD, the gap should be 0. Okay, so right now, okay, that's really cool to go in that way. I think for this one, I don't want to be LG, gap would be 0. For let's go in our mobile menu. So here we need to pass what kind of data it's going to be there. So I'm just gonna go and put an empty braces right now. So here we can just put a menu icon, which is going to be a, let's say it should be passing within a button property, and that should be align left icon here. Okay, so that's the simple icon here. So this icon gonna be handling all the functionality, and there is a mistake here. As you can see in the production, whenever I'm going, the menu is going because it's coming only for MD, but it should be coming for LG, which we are making good is right here. But this one should not be there once we are actually within the separate property here, right? So what we can do right now for the button here, put a class name, and over here we can just make that hover text should be, let's say, take orange, and we're gonna pass that hover effect, and also not MD, should be LG, should be hidden. So right now that is not there. If we go in smaller skin, okay, we are right here. So our property is working. We got a responsive header, and so right now we can do the other tricks which can be aligned it all together. So let's go back there, and we are going to start working to make our banner looks better, so that we can go and combine it at the top to bring the other properties, so how the way it can be look good and how the way it can be looks better. So what we can do right now over here, as you can see, so in the components, I'm going to create another file, a folder which gonna be say as pages. So in the pages gonna be another which gonna be home page. So that should be home. So all the property which gonna be coming for the home skin going to be there. So let's say it should be banner.tsx rafce. So here we're gonna pass our banner. Also, if you go in the app, we're gonna go client, we're gonna open our page, and over here instead of that going to be, let's say, home banner, not home banner, only banner. So that there the banner gonna be there. So we need to start building our banner. And for the banner is also a very not so very like a very hard task. We need to just go and use our carousel, and then also gonna be compiling with the compare products. Then we're gonna have that banner. So this three set we're gonna do it together. So for the banner now, we're gonna go at the here. So over in the banner section, we can now start building how the way we want it to be look alike. So here first, it should be as a container. So container, and over the container, the data layer gonna be encompassing on that particular tab. If we save, as you can see, those things is gonna run. So I'm gonna go in pages. I'm gonna remove the padding bottom right now, which is not required. Or I'm going to keep the padding bottom so it can be showcasing the data layer. So first of all, after that, we can make it a class name. Margin top should be 5, so it can be having a bit of gap from the top. And after that, also we can, that should be equalizing. Why is coming? If I put margin top from there, why that need to be coming? So BJ, which is the tech BJ. Adding bottom 10, so this combination should not be equalizing there. Okay, so here if I make, let's say, 52, I want to see the gap. So we are losing the background. So I think if we go in the container, did we put any color? No. and the color is coming from our, let's say, from our page. So this is the color which we are using, right? Yeah, so that should not like removing that. So we can just simply make that, let's say, for the padding top, we can make that padding top as 5. So the padding portion gonna work. So my combination layer is not required right now here. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, and then we're gonna make it as a grid. And first of all, the grid calls should be 1, and also LG, which gonna be, let's say, grid calls of 4. So that should be a 4 columns aligned together, and I'm gonna put a gap of 4, and MD, the gap should be 5. And what actually we're building, I'm gonna just provide a demo here. So this is now grid 4 here. 3 grid is taking my image, which is the banner, and then the 2 grid is taking, 1 grid is taking that portion. But whenever I'm hitting a smaller skin, as you can see, I'm hiding the comparison and other tab. Only that portion is working in Flex 1 property. So you can also keep that if you wanted to, but I'm hiding it. It's not so important to be passing that. Now I can just take another div, and over here I'm gonna just use a carousel here. So for the carousel, I'm gonna use also that carousel content. So carousel content, and after the carousel content, I need to provide that carousel property material. So right now you can see there is nothing at all. So we're gonna provide a div here. So put a class name which should be full by default, and LG call span should be 3. Okay, so that's the call span we are going to entertaining here. First of all, what I'm gonna do is that we need to have to get the banner, and the banner gonna be coming from our queries, from our data. Because see, this entire portion, when I said before, no, that should not be static. All the things gonna be coming from actually our data in the Sanity. So we need to have our data set ready. Okay, otherwise we cannot do any carousel properties, we cannot do anything. All the things gonna be fitted from there. So what we can do here to use that implementation, you need to go to sanity.io, and over there you need to have an account. If you doesn't have account, you can simply create it, but if you have your account, you can just simply go your manage projects, and over here you can go and implement. Either you can create a new projects, or you can go with any previous multitude of the project. You see the shop tech which is running for that's the one which is running for there. So I can create a separate, I can create a new project from right here, or I can create a project from my terminal. So our terminal, you need to install Sanity globally to access that. I can make that Sanity login so I can easily access my account. So I'll go with the login, and it's fetching the providers. I'll go with the Google, and after that I'll go with this one where I'm using, that's the account, which, yeah, that's the similar. You need to have the similar accounts, otherwise it's gonna be causing you error. So that's the one. So I'm having that. Now how we can use the Sanity, how we can implement that. So we can go to directly in npm, and here there is one package which is called the Next Sanity. So that's the package which will help us to go and get everything which required to implement the Sanity property. Okay, where is that? Yeah, that's the one. So that's the property. Okay, so we just need to copy that, and after that I'm gonna just paste that one right here. So npm I Next Sanity, and also you need to check your packages, packages.json, if it's just installed or not. So it's still installing. Just give a little bit of time, so it's gonna install all of the things which is required to go and predefine to use the Sanity. Okay, that is installed, but how we can use that? So if you just toggle through at over here, you can go for the quick start, and from there you can see npx is just the manual installation, but at the top here, the quick start with the installation process, you need to go to run that npx sanity at latest init. So over here, okay, after that, okay, it's still installing. I'll just provide a bit of more time. Okay, got the package here, Next 99.12. So I'm going to go with npx, and that should be providing that Sanity at latest. So I'm going to go with that latest, and over here I'm going to provide that init. So that's the functionality which gonna go initialize my Sanity within my project. So entirely you need to follow whatever the procedure I'm implementing right now, because that's, if you're not doing the same, maybe you're gonna running up with some of the errors. So either I can go with the projects chosen by, as you see I have the shop tech, I can choose that, or I can go create a new project. Okay, and your project name I need to provide that. So let's say shop tech underscore YT. So that will be my project name. Enter. And either I can, yeah, that's the organization I'm going to choose. If you doesn't have the organization, you need to create the multiple one and use the default dataset configuration. Yes, I want to use the default dataset configuration. And after that we will go with the Next.js folder. I say yes, so it's gonna go and combine that. Do you want to use TypeScript? Yes, we're gonna go initialize TypeScript. And would you like an embedded Sanity Studio? Of course you need to put Y, otherwise it will not go with that. And that could be what route do you want to use for the studio. I'll go right now is default. Later on we're gonna go and use some certain kind of things. Now either you can choose a default schema, you can go with a clean project with no predefined schema. I'll go with a clean project. And right now .env.local file, so that could be fine. Why? And after that, now it's running, as you can see, npm install is getting with the legacy path dependency, which is coming with the Sanity version 3. We are having the Sanity 3, Sanity image URL 1, and style component. So just give a little bit of time so that it can install each and every single components is required, and then we will just establish and starting building our project using the Sanity. And I think, yeah, it's doing those things. And as you can see, whenever we are here, you can just, there is a studio file already generated, and also you can see the Sanity folder structure is generated. Okay, it succeeds, so we are good to go. So now what we can do, as you can see, as we did that, we can go right here, and from here we can go Sanity, we can just go with studio. So now we can just go run to studio, and if you're running for the first time, there should be a typical thing gonna happen, which going to be implemented, that you need to go with a certain assign in a position, and of course need to remember what accounts you're using. If I just reload here, I should be happen to be two projects here. Previously I had one I created from the command line, but it should be generating right here too. So now you can see I have this project right here, so I can see all the data layer, all the predefined method over here. So okay, got it, not require. So right now, as you can see, I have my limit, whatever the data, how much I can get. So there is almost the free positioning. I can go and just along around with that. So let's go over here. It's still rendering, and of course for the first time it's gonna take a bit of time to go and compile your studio. You need to have patience to let it be compiled. Okay, there is valid element property. So what I'm gonna do here right now, I'm gonna close that, and over here npm I, so I need to install, there is a lot of packets coming through, so even my project is running all together beforehand. Then I'm gonna run npm run dev this time. Let's see, and we're gonna start reloading that. Okay, so it's better to have that. You just reload your application. I think the error will disappear. If it's still there, we need to do some other trick to go and make it better. Okay, studio, yeah, now it's compiling. So now I need to go choose my provider to log in. Again, I'm saying the similar account, the way your account is logged in, you need to choose the same account, otherwise you can't access the data sets, or you can see the Sanity Studio. So right now, as you can see on the studio, we should have nothing at all, just a default parameters, no document, no types. It's because we created, we said that we don't need that, because we're gonna create everything from the scratch. So first of all, we're gonna explore what kind of things I need to bring that for us in our project structure. So what I'm gonna do right now, if we have the env, so that's the env is setting up for that. So we need to create a project env. Instead of that, I'm going to remove that as local. I'm going to directly go with .env file structure. So this is my env where the things is going to be running, and we have the Sanity CLI which is accessing on that. We have Sanity's config.ts file where we are running that /studio, but we are not going to run in a /studio. And why we are going to do that? Because we need to move that within our admin directory. So you see the admin, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take that studio and I'm going to just drag it in our admin, and of course it's going to be movable. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make that as admin /studio. So that's the one it's gonna be there, and we can just simply go in our home route. So I'll go in my home tag where I'm going to cut it again. I'm going to go in my localhost 3000. Okay, so right now what I'm gonna make admin /studio. And why we're doing that, because we're gonna implement lots of authentication parameter. Because of that, we are predefined on that parameter. So right now, whatever the plugins is just happen to be, we're gonna keep that. So we're gonna go like that, very simple fashion. So we need to start building our schemas. So as you can see over here in the studio, we have the tool, and in the tool we have the page.tsx. So these the things I need to go one layer deeper, because I think, yeah, because we just move one of the directory there. So I need to make that happen. Otherwise, you see it's coming up from the Sanity config. So that's the error it was providing. I think it will disappear, of course. So right now here we are having that configuration placement. So that's the studio done. You can go and see all the context and all the structure issue is done from there. So what we need to do, we need to start building our schemas, because otherwise we will not be able to see anything within our Sanity structure. So that's the one which we need to go and provide that. First of all, I'm going to go within our, as you see, one directory called Sanity. In the lib, we have the client which we can use. We will have the image, we have the live, all of the functionality we're going to use, but not right now. And if we go back to our schemas, you see we have index.ts file, but we doesn't have any schema written. So we're gonna build up our first schema, which gonna be passing that calls as the banner data, or you can say the banner type. So we can just simply pass that. Okay, I'm gonna remove that. Now this one over here, I'm gonna take new file which gonna be banner.ts, or you can say the banners, you can say the banners type. Is up to you how you're gonna make the name. So I'm gonna just, yeah, banner types is more sophisticated, and the single banner, yeah, that should be a more inclusive name for that. So the banner type.ts. And over here we need to pass what kind of banner data we want. So first of all, we will make the command export const, let's say const banner type with the similar name. And over here we're gonna make a define type parameter. So define type, we need to import it from the Sanity. It's a function which taking a object on the premises. Then we need to pass the name, and which going to be as a banner. So that's the name will be the key when we're gonna access the banner. And we're gonna provide the title, which is the banner, and the title gonna showcase within our layer of that studio whenever we're gonna implement here. And after that we're gonna having a type, and the type should be a document type. Okay, so this is the type combination. And after that we need to provide that fields. So fields going to have the array of fields. It can be the object of field. So I'm going to provide an array, and every array it gonna provide the data. So define field need to import from Sanity, and also I can provide an icon here so that I can easily visualize that, and that should be tag icon from Sanity. Okay, tag icon. Sanity implementation is not coming here, so we can simply pass that. So import, and that could be from at Sanity, and that should be icons. Yes, so we can now simply grab that. That should be tag icon. Okay, now on the field premises, how we gonna access the field? So this field is going to have a define parameter. So define field, which also going to be passing an object. First we're gonna provide the name for our field. So should be the name, and the name, okay, that name should be the name. And then we're gonna have our title, which gonna say it should be coming as a banner title. And after that, the type of the title should be, it should be a string. Okay, so that's the way we're gonna define the field for every single property there. So what I'm gonna do, because the similar property and the data ratio, it can be act like a very good fashion. So what I'm gonna do, as you can see here, I'm gonna just grab all of the fields which we are going to exercise within the application. So over here we have a field called the name, which gonna be the getting the banner title. Then we have the select, so we can individually particularly separate according to the individual layer, and the title and the select should be according to the title, and the defined field should be name, and there is the description, which the cell description, and it could be the text. We have the badge, and all the data you can see here. You can see we can use a lot of data here. You can use the badges, we can use the other data. Right now we're not keeping here, but there is the probability that you can keep. We have the badge, discount badge, we have the discount amount, we have the image. So that's the image actually is happening, and it can be hosted in Sanity. So that's the image layer, it can be like implemented. So this is the data layer which we need to provide that. So after that, we also gonna do one more thing, is that we need to prepare a preview. So the preview which is going to be access that our data structure. So let's go and grab the preview. And from the preview, what we're gonna do, we're gonna select the method. So select, and from here we're gonna select the title, and the title going to be the title as the name, and also the media, which going to be the media, whatever the image we are doing. And from there we need to prepare our preview, and on the preview prepare we're gonna use that select parameter here, and the select portion we're gonna make that const parameter from is should be is equal to, let's say it's gonna be coming from the select which we have the top, and the select has that title and also has that let's say media. So now what we can do after that, we can just return simply, and that should be title media. Okay, so that's two going to combine. So now as we have the banner type, we are now, it could be easy to go and implement the type ratio within our index. So what we can do, as you see the types over here, we can just simply pass that banner type. And of course you need to import that banner type, otherwise you're gonna just go pass to have a logical error. So feel free that you can access that. And also if you go in our for that particular that config here, so I think it would be in the config or somewhere else. I need to go and okay, if we go here, let's see if we can see something, because we just loaded that one for in the index. We have the banner type, and over here in the structure, okay, as you can see the title which is contain default, which I don't want to see. So the title is I think the title which we can make that, let's say we can make shop tech admin. So now you can see here the shop tech admin title here, which gonna be implemented. So right now what it gonna happen, that we can just combine that our typo to just go and make some of the structural positioning. You see the shop tech admin. So right now we're gonna have one parameter, one particular type is done, which called the banner. And for the banner, as you can see, if we're gonna add one banner, we can just simply add that, and then we can just simply pass the banner data. So I will just go and get prefetch that all the scenario. So right now for the banner we can pass the title. So let's say it should be a dummy banner, and the slack should be generating from that particular ratio. And if you want to have the description, you can keep it. You can have the badge, you can have the discount amount, let's say 20% on that banner. Then I can upload an image, and the image, as you can see on the folder structure of the banner, you can have all the images. You can open the image, and after happen to be that, you can simply publish that image, and that image is live. And of course how you can go and take that. So as you can see here, we have a vision, okay, so by which we can just go and grab the banner. Like you can just write a query to see how the banner gonna be, okay, yeah, so you can just simply run the query that whatever the banner and how the banner can be implemented to just go and pass that. So first of all, to do that, I'm gonna just go put an star mark, which is the query legitimacy to go run that. So on the star mark, I'm gonna go using the third bracket together, and then I'm gonna define the type. So that should be underscore type. Remember the name, which we keep it as banner, so we need to go past that banner name. So not the banner, should be smaller, and that banner name which we are passing that over here in the banner type, this the name should be together. So if we just hit enter to fetch all the data, it can be providing all the banner data. Right now we having one data. You can see the banner, we have the reference, we have created ID, we have the discounted amount, we have the image, we have the slogan name. So that's the way we can combine and have all the data by which can really work together and make it better. So what we can do, as you see, to creating the schema types is pretty simple and a very good manner to go and do in that way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and provide that schema property in which it can exercise all the property. So I'm gonna go and bring that for you, so you can easily go and fetch that. Okay, so right now, as you can see, we have the address for the type here, and the address type also taking the name, title as address, type is document, icon the home icon, getting the field. And as you have the code, you can explore it all together, or you can just go like by like. I'll go slow and steady so you can have to capture. If you're writing, you can just go with me. So in the address, we have the name field, which that title is the address name, type is string, description a friendly name of this address, the validation, which is the rules should be required and it can be maximum as a 50 character. Then every address going to be having an email, which gonna be requiring the user email, and for the address, which gonna be having a street address, title type is string, description, which the street including the apartment and unit, and the validation, which gonna be minimum 5 to maximum 100 character, which gonna be total address. Then we have the city name, which need to be required. As you the rule is setting, you need to provide, otherwise you can submit. Then we have our state property, and state also for 2-letter state code. That one you can either put the rule or you can remove the rule, is up to you. Then we're gonna have the zip. Now for the zip, I use that US based zip collection here. So either you can remove the validation to any number. If you want to pass any number, you can remove it, but I will just go with the zip code actual zip code ratio, so that to have all the entire zip code segment to be implemented. Then we have the default address, which gonna be boolean. So by default, all the default address going to be false, but you can just like toggle through it how the way you want. Then we have that created at, and when the address is created, that's providing the data, and the preview getting the preview with the title is default is or not. And what I was looking forward to have to see that, as you can see, the title and image which we provide to have that particular of if you in the banner, if you select the banner, you can see the title and image. So that's the one making that preview. So that's the way we can set the preview. And for the address preview, gonna have the title, which title gonna be is default, and subtitle gonna be subtitle and others. And after that, we're gonna have the banner type, which we already created. We have the block content type, and if you are using not a default schema, if you are using any schema like for the blog schema and others, by default that block content gonna be generated. So this is the way it can be implemented. So the block content gonna define type, have the block content name is the block content type is the array, and off it's going to be defined array member, which going to be block. So if you are having confused to do that, what I refer you to get any default parameter like a blog schema and others. So styles going to be the normal style, which going to be getting the normal title. H1 gonna be H1 tag, H2 H3 just providing that, and code gonna be block code, and the list gonna be the bullet point, and value should be the bullet value. Then we are having the marks, and of course this as generated by default previously. I can remove all of those, and it's gonna be a little bit clean and nicer. Then okay, so I'm also gonna remove that. Okay, and let's go. And for the mark, gonna be like the decorators that is strong, and emphasis gonna be a little bit emphasizer, and also having to be for the annotations gonna be title, name, object, and also you can pass any fields. Then what it can take as the image, so you can also add the image, and the option gonna be hotspot true, and all the alternative tag is providing right here. And after that, we're gonna have the block category is type, which gonna be providing the block category. You can see here, oh, we're gonna have the block, and there is the category. You can see the social media. If you go in the single block, we can see the category lifestyle, social media, company news, and electronics. So that's the way we can create the block. So to create the block, we're gonna provide the name as category, title, block, category, type, document, and icon is the tag icon. So passing the fields, define field, getting the title, type is string, slag, and then just passing the description. So this is the tree form gonna create that title for the block category type. Then we're gonna have the block for particular block data. You can see that's the entire block gonna coming from here. So the block gonna have the name of block, title block. It's gonna be happen to be a document, and field first we're gonna get the title, then we are getting the slag, which gonna be coming from the title. Then we are having the author, whoever created that, and as you can see, it's interlinked. It's gonna match with the type of author. So we're gonna have a author type. If you click here, you can see there is an author. Okay, I missed the author type. I think I missed the author type. So that should be not auth. I think I made a mistake. Should be author type. AOTHOR. Yeah, that should be like that. So the author type, you see the name of the author, title, author, type, document. So that should be interlinked. Of course, we're gonna define that. So the reference gonna be coming as an author, then gonna coming as a main image, because the multiple image can be there. The main image typically is that top image, which going to be an image and hotspot true. Then there gonna be a block categories. Remember, we created the block categories, which going to be an array, so we can get the entire block. We can get from the drag and drop, and we can choose whatever category it gonna be in line. So, and in that way we can just select that property. Then we have the publish at time. Then we have the its latest blog or not. We can toggle it by default of us. Initial value is true, all the blog gonna render as a latest. Then later on we can toggle it back to a normal blog. We have the body structure, that's the blog content. Remember, we have the blog content type, that's what gonna render here. Also the preview, which gonna be passing a select method, gonna be author is latest from the selection, and then passing the author name and others. And let's go back to our I think okay, let's back to our author type. And in the author type, we are just passing the name as author, title author, type is document, and user icon is there. So first is getting the name, which is a string, then getting the slag coming from the name, then we're having the author image, then also a little bit bio of for the author, and that bio is coming as a type of array, and the block member is coming as the block. So you can just simply render title and normal text, and there it can be list of something about data. For the preview, getting the title and media. So that's the author we are having. Okay, so we gotta get that address, author, banner type, block content type, block categories, block type. Now we have the brand types. For the brand, we are having the name of the particular brand, title, and document, and the tag icon. And first we're gonna get the title of the brand, then we're getting the select for the brand. We having the description, and every brand should have an image. So that's what we are generating the image for that particular brand. And in the preview, the title, subtitle gonna be description, and media gonna be image. So that's how we're gonna showcase the brand data in our studio. Then we're going to have our category type. Every single product have a particular category. As you can see, this category have a title, image, and other data, and you can see the name of category, title, category, doc. If you're typing, be careful the name, and it should be matching all together, otherwise you're gonna run an error. So the name is category, title, category, type is the document, getting the tag icon, and the fields is that the define field, which gonna be naming as a title, which is a string, then getting the slag, which the type of slag, getting source from the title, getting the description, and getting that range number for starting from which range, getting a featured. If this category is featured, featured means this will showcase here, but if it's not features, it's gonna showcase all together the layer where it's just showcasing all the category as the normal layer. So that's how we gonna be moment if two together to make it happen. And after that, also it's gonna be having a fit, okay, and the image, which will be a category image, hotspot true, and the preview gonna be title, subtitle, and the media going to be image. Then we are having our product type. So this is a very good and complex one. So product type, the name should be the product, title is the product. So I think the title should be, okay, I can keep it as products. And the type is documents. The trolley icon would be there. First, we're gonna get the product name, and every product should have the rule required. So without the product name, you cannot submit the product. So that's what we are rendering, and put the rule wherever you are requiring for yourself. So first the name, then we're getting the slag, and the max length is 96. So the validation, the slag should be required, and also the images, the product images, but it's not a particular images, as you can see, of type image options hotspot true. So it's an array of images. So as you can see, we're gonna have a multiple images. So right now, if you click any of that, you're gonna have that multiple images right here. So that's what we're gonna creating on that portion. That multiple image ratio should be implementing. We're gonna having the description. You can see the description right here, title, description, all the things it's gonna be coming from the backend. So it's not static data right here. So we have description, we have the price, which is number, and every single product should have the price. Rule is required. We're gonna having discount amount also required, and minimum can be the 0. And then the categories, and categories interlink of the category. So every product should be matched having a category link, so we can get the product through calling from the category. Then you're gonna have the stock, which is the getting the stock, and it's a number and it's required. We're gonna having a brand, the type of the brand. So whatever the brand type we created, that could be matched with that. Then we're gonna having the status, the product status gonna be is new, hot, sale. So it's gonna be defining on that, and from that value we can choose accordingly. Then we are having the product variant, as you can see, the gadget, appliances, refrigerators, others, and so we can just go through and make that category. It's up to you. If you, maybe we are not recording here, but it's better to have that. Then we have the is feature products. So if you want to showcase any of that, it should be there. Then we're gonna having the preview, gonna be getting the title, media, subtitle, the showcasing the media, and getting the 0 index. So that's the how we're gonna showcase the product. And after the product, last is that order type, the way we can save the order. And of course, we're gonna come back to it later because we are not gonna do right now. So right now, as you can see, we have the type property. So I'm gonna go one by one. So first, we're gonna take that address type. Then we're gonna have the auto type. Then we're going to have that banner type. Then we're gonna have that block content type. Then also block category type. And then we are going to have that, let's say, block type. After that, category type. After okay, should be category type. And after that should be order type. And then we're gonna go with that product type. Save. So now we should be able to see all of those property right here. So if we go here, as you can see, we need to make a reload because it's a lot of things we are implementing. So all the types, all the required credential, it should be implementing, and we should be seeing all of those things right here. Okay, we got a simple error, which is just generating the fields brand reference to 0 at the array of brands. So I think we can solve that if we go in our product there where we link the brand. So that's the slag, that's the images, description, price, discount, categories, stock, brand. So that's where it's getting for the brand. So it's going to be coming as a 0 brand. Right now it doesn't have any brand till so far, but yeah, so we can just reference to type of category. So we can just go and a reference of that reference of type of brand. I think oh, that's just a little bit of mistake here. So type of array we can get, and then we can provide that. So after the title should be okay. I'm gonna just make that like that, not the reference, yeah, but the array reference, and that should be coming from the brand. So I think that could resolve the issue. And later on, once we are having the brand, we can also certainly get the brand by itself to that to showcase our brand data is actually there. Right now, it doesn't have a brand, so we cannot interlink. Okay, product. There is. Okay, I will just, for right now, as we doesn't have a brand, I'm gonna just skip that. I'm gonna comment that just to see that our other data is rendering properly. Later on, also you're having the brand we are showcasing, and also I'm gonna sort that error later on, as we first, our first priority to have some data, then later on we can sort out all of those things. So right now, as you see in over here, we're gonna have, you see that we are having the address, we are having author, banner, blog category, order, product. So all the things is right here. And if you want to like put it proper way, you can take that one at like, you can make it in a very good positioning. Like I love to have that product data should be always at the top, and after the product, I love to have my category, and then I want to have my, let's say, the banner, and then also we need to have our okay, there was not the issue for the, because we didn't get the brand type. Okay, so brand type, yeah, we didn't have that brand type here. That was causing the issue, not this particular data. So that is right there, we doesn't have the brand, so we are having the issue. So yeah, that's a simple slight mistake. It can happen, human error, you know. So but you need to be careful once you're building. So after that, a banner type, we're gonna have our brand, or yeah, like that. Then we're gonna have the address type. Block content, we're gonna keep it at the very bottom. We're gonna have the order type after the address. Then we're gonna have the block type, we're gonna have the block category, author, and others. So right now we have a very single proportional move by which we can showcase all the data layer, all the structurable positioning right there. And also I want to do one more thing. You see over here, so I can now, as you can see right here, we have the products category, brand, banner, address, order. So this is the same thing, but I think for the banner, I'm gonna move it backward. Yeah. So now you can see a specific way how we are looking forward to. We have those things for some of the users and some of the others. So I'll go in the structure. I want to address one of the style positioning here. So after the list here, so item as list. Okay, so this is the function which is running here. We can simply can put a divider here by which we can make things bit of quite nice and clean. And to do that one, as you see that items, which is going to be, I'm going to just remove that items parameter from here. So now the admin is going to have the items, which is going to render all of the item property from there, and the item as dot should be coming from the document, not the document type list item. So that's gonna be accessing the item, and from there I'm gonna pass that the order property. So I'm gonna take the order, and also dot title, which is going to be, let's say it's gonna be order, and there we're gonna use an as dot divider. Okay, so we're gonna provide a divider on that parameter. Okay, and after that, if we save, I want to see what is happening later on. I know if there is an error, we can sort out. If doesn't not having error, then okay, fine. So right now, okay, so what we are seeing here, okay, it's loading. So it's gonna have a divider after that order data. Okay, there's the order, and as you can see, okay, that's yeah, we need to return all of the other property, and after that we can just put that dot dot dot, we can sped it. Okay, so we provide the as dot divider, and after putting the divider, and then we can just go sped it all other as dot document type of the list items, and then we can just make that simple. We can make the filter, or we can just simply pass that item. So let's see what it's gonna render. So it's gonna supposedly to render all of those data structure. So that's how you can make the top prioritize. You can make a, I think that's the way it can do, or we can just go and make that one, because I want to make a separator by which it can work it all together. But Yeah, but I failed. Okay, that's the basically what is gonna happen if it's not happening like that way. You can simply go with this structure. You can go with the categories, then you can pass all the get ID for the category. But the problem is after below that it gonna just make that, you see, we are filtering, so all the other documents it's gonna remove. So this is a bit of messy on that. So if we go in the category, you can see the category is in the top, after that is passing the product. So instead of the category, I can simply pass that our product. I think the products is the products, yeah. So my product would be at the top. I think this could be a good sign once we are having to render the product. Okay. Okay, now if you want to add a product, you need to add one by one. As you can see, you just add the product from here. You can need to add all the data ratio how you want to add. So I'm gonna go and that. So this is the same fundamental for all of those things. You need to go with the for the category, for the brand, for the addresses, you need to add manually. And for the order, it will generate not from there, but it's gonna generate from right in our backend. We're gonna push that right here. For the blog category, author, all you need to add. So now for the product, you need to add the product name, then the slag, and also as you can see, you can add the images. So yeah, that could be a typical parameter here, the product images. You can see the add item. So right now you can add any of the image. You can upload the image from the images, as you can see in the banner. So that's the banner and the images. So I think, yeah, for the products, and from there you can add any images and then you can sort it down. So that's the way we can do it. But first, right now, what I'm gonna do, remember we are having one of that which I created a banner. I'm gonna remove that banner right now. Okay, I'm gonna just simply make that banner disappear, because I'm gonna seed my data right here, because you need to upload it and it's a bit of time consuming. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna having a seed file from where we can actually grab all the data. So I'll just remove that and passing it here. So now this is the seed file which will ensure that I'm having all the data right now. So what I'm gonna do, instead of writing that to implementing that one, so I'm gonna make that, let's say Sanity, and of course you need to have a Sanity globally installed to using that, and the dataset export a production, and that should be seed.target.zz. So now that that could be not export, sorry, it's my bad. It should be okay, that could be export, that should be import, yes, npx sanity at latest. And over here I'm gonna go make that dataset import set. So that's the import data. So whatever the data is right here, I can import. So this data is completely having all of this data running by this project. So that's the data I'm just taking from there. So now as you can see here, create a new, no, I want to go with the production. So the similar application layer, remember the env file having that. So that's the application, and as you can see now it's importing all the assets from there. And as you can see over here, if you just reload here, you can see all the things gonna be written right here after implementing those things, like after getting the things seed imported from there. So right now I'm gonna go here. Yeah, it will just take a bit of time to finish that. So right now, as you see, that is done. So let's go back to my project here, and if I without reload, you can see all the data is right now is set. So yeah, that is available. And the untitled one, which it has been created before, the dummy one, the draft one, I can simply remove that. I can just simply make that delete. So right now I'm having all the data, and also for the order, which actually can run, there is no order data. Okay, good, fine. We have the products. So the products, as you can see, products containing the products data, how it's gonna be amplifying on that particular matter. And as you can see, we have the title, the name, we have the slag, we have the product data, description, price, discount, and the categories. We can add multiple categories, item. You can just simply choose from the categories, and then you can add whatever categories you want your product to be in line. You can see all the categories is running there. And then we have the stock property. Whenever product is unavailable, that should be implemented. We have the brand, product status, which we can choose from here. We have the appliances, the product type here. If you want either feature or not, that's how we can render. So this is the way the product should be run. Then we're having the category data, and as you can see the preview which we have been running, you see the image, title, and the price. So that's the way the preview is working. And for the category segment here, that's the category, image, title, and the description, and every category having the same layer of the things which we have been shown before. And for the brand and for all of the things having the same data, same ratio, same parameter by so far. So we can just simply go in our in our application. Okay, let's go to our home page. So right now we have all the things done, but what you need to do, you need to go and access all of those to upload the things for yourself. Take a little break, and either that seed file is available because the seed file is generating, because I need to do the work for that. So if you want the seed file to work for you, you need to purchase that. This is the only cache to go with that. Otherwise it's very simple to build the application. So if you go to bring that production layer code, so if you just go to purchase the code, this code having the seed file available for you, you can have it and then you can run it. You do the same thing. There is a file called it to be the empty file where all the things is written, so you can have it, access it. The entire code base is right there. So this is the cache for that, but I'm sorry because I can't provide the seed file as free, but all the code it's going to be there. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna remove the seed file from here, as I'm gonna push everything to you. So take your time, like implement all of those things, like provide that and make all the things right now, publish that, because right now after finishing implementing all of those things, we are going to start building our pages. So as you can see, first thing first, we're gonna start with our banner. For the banner, first we need to have our banner data, and that you can simply go over in the vision. Then remember the query which we have been passed beforehand, you can just fetch again, and you can see all the banner data is right here. And of course you need to upload the banner to go on that. So we need to go and refresh the data from here to our application layer, right? And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go in our, I'm gonna just close all. Let's go in the Sanity, and over here I'm gonna take another directory called queries. So here we're gonna just put all of our queries. First of all, the query is gonna be have two syntax. One should be a query.ts, query.ts, so that's gonna handle all the query which we are gonna asking for that. And then we're gonna have an index.ts file. From here we're gonna export all individual query. So first of all, to write a single query, we can just make that const, and that should be, I'm gonna make the capitalize for the query segment for the grok. So banner underscore query should be query, and here we need to pass the query. And to define any query, you need to get that define query a parameter from the next Sanity, otherwise it will be unable to define that. Now over here what we can do, remember the way we started, and that could be coming up with a star mark, remember that. So we're gonna pass that star mark here. So let's put that star mark, or is my star, and then gonna go the second bracket, and then we're gonna pass that underscore type, and the type should be is equal to, and then we're gonna pass the type as the banner. And here we can also stick like the put a several segment here, how the things can be done. Like we can put one statement here which going to be passing the order. So I can now select it by which it will come. Like I will take that published at DESC, so it's gonna be coming the publish as a descending. And as we write the query, it's a very simple and static query. As you can see, that's just gonna fetch the banner, not dynamic interpolation. We're gonna just export from here, no default but a normal export method, where we're gonna just pass that banner query. So now we are having a banner query, and of course you can pass that okay, it should not be here. Okay, that should not be here. I'm gonna just cut it, and I'm gonna get in my queries. Yeah, that should be the query. And by the way, you could also keep it the same within the same functionality, but you know, I love to prefer it to get it a little bit better to in separation. Now we need to write a function which gonna be like that const get banner banner. So that's the function which going to give us the banner, and of course the function going to be a async and await formulation, as because we're going to get the data from here, from the Sanity portion. So it will be a delay time, and as you know, JavaScript is a single thread language. It cannot wait for entire script to run, so it's gonna just call and run. But if we put async and await, it just gonna wait till the till the network is getting timeout or any error is coming. Till then it will wait for the data. That's the simple configuration for that. So now I will use a try catch block. So in the catch, we can just simply pass the error. So we can just make that console.error. If we are having any error, we can simply define that should be error fetching, FETCHI fetching banners data. And here we're gonna just simply pass the error. That's we are facing error, we can see and identify. Now how you can fetch the banner? To fetch the banner, we can just simply get the data and we can put an object. Otherwise we need to, like, if we don't put an object, how we gonna do? So let's say const data is equal to should be await, and here we'll use that sanity fetch method, and that is coming from the lib, as you can see over here. So that would be from here, sanity fetch method. So this method gonna be handle all the sanity method and provide those things to be in real time. But for to initializing that, we should be needing a sum of the token and other property. And for the client, I will just make, like, say I'll just go like that. I will not create any, I will just simply pass the client. So right now it's just gonna access the client, and the client side gonna just fetch the data. And of course I'm gonna also make that fetch option. So right now I will make that revalidate. I'm gonna provide a 0, so no revalidation gonna be there, but later on we can provide the validation whenever we are needing that. So right now for the sanity fetch, we need to provide one of the parameter that call the query. So we can just pass the object, and here we can pass the query. Query should be banner query, and as you see, it's coming from the query. So that's the way we are accessing that. And as you can see right now, if you just make the log, the data is like, the data should be coming from data, right? So instead of wrapping that, we can just pass that within an object parameter, so we can now handle the data directly. And from here we're going to return, and what we're going to return is that if we have the data, then the data will go. If it doesn't have any data, you will return an empty array, so that will not let us to collapse our application. So of course the similar export method I'm going to use here, get banner. So now we are having the banner method. So I'm going to go in my in my banner here. Where is my banner? So let's just search it, banner. And of course, as the async method going to work, did we put the, I think, yeah, await method is right here, so it's good. I'm gonna go in the banner, should be an asynchronous method and should be const. We can now get our entire banner segment directly here, so that it can be easily accessible. So should be const banner is equal to await, and that should be get banner. Pass that, and I will just log if we can receive any banner. It's saved, and let's see if we can access the banner yet. So I'll go in my inspector just to see what's going on in between. Okay, that is my console. It still is loading, and okay, there is the problem. As you can see here, the banner is coming, right? As you can in the server, the banner is right here, but there would be some of the prominent error which you can just finally find in our data layer, which gonna be, if you just come over here at the top, you can see here server token provided define live, and a browser token provided to define live. So this is the live query which is handling on that. There should be 2 token, okay, and that 2 token going to be handle all of the properties, how the server and how the client should be look alike. So we can easily access that token, so we can just simply pass the token. But right now I think, yeah, right now if we handle the promises, we'll get the token, but I think right now it's not required to show that. So I'll go in my banner, and as I have the banner, now we can easily pass the banner to our home banner. And to get that home banner done, so this is my carousel content, and over here I'm gonna use a carousel, I'm gonna make that, let's say, should be banner dot map, and over here I'm going to provide that item. I'm going to take that index, so these 2 parameters are going to be there, and after that we can just simply return the value here, and over here that should be carousel item. So need to import that, and in the carousel item we can simply pass the item. So over here what I'm gonna do, I need to provide the key, and the key should be index dot to index dot I think, yeah, I think okay, index is gonna be fine. Or you can just simply pass that to string method, but right now as we doesn't have the type, you can find that it's not providing that, but we're gonna render the type very soon. So over here I'm gonna take a div and I'm gonna take a p tag called hello. Okay, that's the simple hello gonna be run over here, and as you see the hello is just is calling, but there is a bit of problem is that the type is not defined. And also if we go in our over here in the index query here, as you can see the banner, it can be any type. And now individually providing the type, it's gonna be a hack of getting a very lot of time indication there, but we can access that one using a single packages by which it can provide that schema and extract that, and that should be Sanity typegen. So I'm gonna search for that Sanity typegen. Okay, so this is the Sanity typegen, and documentation is just right here, and this is still an experiment feature, but it's very cool and working very perfectly. So that's the way Sanity can extract that, and that's the way schema can be run. So this is a very simple and prominent schema type there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just create a single deviation here. So in the package, after that the linked, I'm gonna add one like a command line here, which gonna be npx sanity at latest schema extract and npx sanity at latest typegen generate. So that's gonna be extract all the schema, and then it gonna generate all the types for me. So if I just drag that npm run typegen, so it gonna generate all of the types. So right now as you can see, I have nowhere to track the type. So later on, after running that command, if you write it properly, that extracting schema can be generated and it will provide to you so that you can easily utilize it. And of course, after getting that, we should be able to get that data as an actual type. So just provide the time to extract data for it. So as you can see, it's quite fast. Data is extracting. You see the data, banner query, like a banner query result. So we are having our data right now. And also if we go in our like for particularly the banner, you can see the error is gone. So means we are, you see the ID, typegen, and all other parameter is there, and you can get that type right here. So if we go here, it's just hiding somewhere, so we can simply find it. I think it would be Sanity CLI, Sanity types. So that's the entire type. So we have the block content type. So whatever the procedure we are having here, we're indicating here, all the structure type is just generated. So whatever your schema is there, all the type is right here. We have the banner type. That's the banner type which you're using, which I'm having the ID type. So every single clarities is just covered right here, and then we have the order. So all things is right here. We're gonna come pass by pass time to time whenever we are needing that. So right now, as we are passing, we can now individually access the banner. So this is the banner content. So that's the carousel right here. We can just simply make that carousel a class name. I'm gonna make it a relative, and also which should be, let's say, full, and rounded should be MD, overflow should be hidden. So right now we're gonna go and extract that. So instead of that hello, I think we can simply pass that if item.image has, only then we can render the image, and we're gonna take an image component from our next image, and over here that should be source, and in the source we cannot directly pass that the ratio. So now you can see the image is right there. So that's the how it you get configure. So I will close the other tabs. So now I have my banner image here, and as you can see, the scan hoverable, and also the problem is here. If we just go our live version, which is the shop tech, do we have any I think we are going to have a button here. You see that button, which we need to implement also. And to get the button, let's go back to our home, and over here in the home carousel item, after that layer we will make that another div, or yeah, after the carousel content we're gonna make another div, and on the div we're gonna have that carousel previous, and after that we're gonna have that carousel next. So these two gonna be there to showcase the button. So now I believe we're gonna see certain kind of button right here. So okay, as we made the div here, so I'm gonna provide that in a different way. I'm gonna make it as an absolute to go and left and right position, and also I'm gonna make that bottom should be let's say from the bottom I'm gonna provide is at 8, and then from the left it should be okay, not like that. From the left it should be, let's say it's gonna be half 1/2, should be 1/2, and also from the minus translate x should be also 1/2, which gonna in case to provide that in the middle. So right now see the button is right there, but we can see it properly if we just go and make it 12. I think it can be visible. No, it's not like that. So okay, not the border, should be bottom. That was the problem. So I'm gonna provide a bottom of 8. So right now you will be able to see the button, but we want the button should be look similar of this. So that's the button. So to implement that one, I'll go in my carousel previous, where actually I can make that things to be done in a proper way. Now you can also modify that one. So it's normal if you are going to render the button property or others. It's up to you how you want to handle. But for the button itself here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get my own button data. I'm changing the pattern. Okay, I need to get the icon, chevron left, yes. And I think the icon which is not using, I need to remove that. Okay, what else I'm missing? Okay, okay, the reference. I think, yeah, we need to also, but yeah, right now this button is not having a reference, so I'll go with that. So this is the button, which as you can see, this is the one. Now if it's there, is activated. So the same thing going to work for our next button also. So carousel next, I'm gonna go and just bring back our next button here. So that's the next button, and I'm gonna choose this, just providing the class name and getting that icon better. So you see, instead of that align ref, I'm getting the arrow icon, and also I'm removing the reference, so we're not providing the reference. And here in the button, it's providing absolute and height, weight, that property here, orange and horizontal. So this just provide the simple class name to align it together. You can see right now, and also if you go back a smaller screen, it's getting better. So this is the way we are configuring that scenario. So now we know we are having our property done, and it's really looking nice. Okay, so after the banner, so after not the banner, like for the carousel, we should be having some different parameter here. So that's the carousel div is just passed. We're gonna have another div, and on the div first we're gonna have a, let's say you're gonna have that product comparison. And after that we're gonna have that, let's say you're gonna have another image. So these two things gonna be highlighted here. So what I'm gonna do, put a class name, and by default I'm gonna make it hidden. LG, it should be flex, and then a flex should be in column property, and gap should be 4, and then MD gap should be 5. Actually for MD5 is not required, because in LG screen it will just disappear, and height should be full. So that's entire property is going to be in a very good way. So now this is just kind and similar as pattern is that. Okay, I think I will go and carousel next. Remember the unnecessary export we need to remove. Yeah, this arrow need to remove, because once we are gonna compile or deploy in Vercel, that could be providing a huge error, and we need to find that again. So now over here, what I'm gonna do for that particular instances, I'm gonna go in the header, not header, but in the pages. So in the home, we have the banner. Then we're gonna also create a product comparison component. Should be product comparison. Product comparison.tsx rfce. That should be our product comparison parameters. So here we need to provide that comparison. So that's how we're gonna make it done. So you can see right here, and also we need to render another image property, and I'm gonna take another div, and here I'm gonna pass an image, and that image gonna be a local image. So we can just pass the source, and the source should be a small banner image. So that's the image we're gonna handle here, and alternative tag should be passing that, let's say, a small banner. And then we're gonna also make the sizes. We can define sizes the way we want. Here the sizes we're gonna just provide within that property. And right now, how we can provide a max width property here to just define the sizes. So the max width going to be, let's say it will be a 7. I think the 768 we are allowing to have that 768. And also we're gonna go with that 100 view width. So whatever the view width is taking, it will capture that. And then also it can, but fallback should be 25 view width it can capture. So now it should be able to see one right here. And what we can do right now to combine that, and also we need to go, I'll make it as a prioritize. So the first instance I want it to be look at, I'll make it as a fill, and I'm going to provide the class name, which is going to be object. Let's say object cover, not contain cover, and rounded should be MD. So that's how it gonna be look. And now you can see the image is everywhere. It's because we need to work on that particular div. I'm going to make it as a simply, let's say it should be not like that. Class name, I can make it as a relative parameter, but right now it will not be there. Rounded MD, and overflow should be hidden. Height should be, let's say, auto. And I think height auto, I'll not go with that. So height would be, let's say, 1/2 parameter. So half of the height, and width going to be as full. Now our image looks perfect. So now we need to start working over here for our product comparison. In the product comparison, as you see, we are providing the background color and rounded, everything is okay. So we're gonna have a two text which gonna be a compare products, and choose two products to compare. Now from there, especially for that particular div, for the class name, I'm gonna make the text should be center aligned. So all text are center. And after that H3 text, I'm going to make the font should be semi-bold. And for the other one, for the P tag, I want to make the text should be, let's say text should be a small text. So that's it. So now this is the comparison layer right now we are having. So first of all, we're going to prepare the design right now, whatever the design we inclusive here. Then later on, we're going to go and make the other possibility, other scenario. And before that, we can also make one single compartment here. We can just go and prefetch all the state which we are going to use within our application layer. Also, we're going to use the product from the types, and of course we're going to bring back all together one by one. If you want to type it, you can type it, or you can go with me later on as we use that UseState and useref. We need to make that our parent as like this entire component should be as a use client flag. So right now what we're going to do here, after that certain kind of div, we need to provide our input field and also the button. So after that div, let's put another div, and over there it should be another div portion, and we're gonna just simply pass that input here right now. So input should be, let's say it should be, the type should be text, and here also the placeholder, you're gonna keep that search and select products. So that would be, as you can see here, this is right there. So that should be the initial div. So after that, you can just write that it should be our first product search, and just copy that. So here we can use that second search, second product search. And for this particular div instances, we're gonna make that class name. I'm gonna make that space y, space y should be, let's say it gonna be as 2, and width should be full, and margin top should be 2. So it's gonna be pushing that a bit at the bottom. Now this div over here, I'll put a class name. I'm gonna make it as a relative, and which should be full. So relative and which should be full. RELA. Where is my E? Okay. And for that one, for the input parameter, I'm gonna make that one as which should be full, and BJ should be, let's say, it gonna be take BJ color, or you can just make that take white. I think that also gonna be okay. And after that, padding X should be 3, padding Y should be 1.5, and after that, rounded should be MD. I'm gonna keep everything as a flex. Items should be center, and then justify should be between, not baseline but between. So what we are doing right now is to create that portion. You see, that's the input is right here, but that's the part which is not included in the input from. So that's what we are looking forward to. Now you can see we are going to create the same compartment. You see the space is right here. Now for the input parameter, also we're gonna put a class name, should be flex1 to get to grab the entire space. Outline should be 0, outline should be 0, and also text should be SM, margin right should be 2. Just a little bit context. You see the search and select product. I think that's pretty much a similar of it. Okay, do we keep that? So if we go back here, if we remove that padding X formation, no, I need that padding X, but I want to check one more parameter. Why? So the padding 4 is there. Okay, that's, we know it should be padding 4. Yeah. So that is the padding comparison, but here is taking a bit of more space. Here is taking the less space. So if we just make a padding 0, nope, it's not about that padding. So this is the div. Okay, that I know, I got it, because we need to remove that after that div, because everything we are keeping within that div parameter, because that's the div is getting the center aligned, so everything is there. That's why the problem is right there. Now what we can do here after that, of course, that should be coming with an like it should be coming with a context if the search one is there then, but right now we're gonna just keep it simple. Okay, 16. So as you can see, there is a button. So that's the same configuration which we are doing right now. We are having it. So that's the one search parameter which we are going to have that, or we can just simply pass it as a size of 18. I think, yeah, that's nice. So that's the one, and then I'm gonna go and try to rewrite my second. So you can see search and select product. So that's the second context. So first and second, and that's the same the probability, the same parameter which we are looking forward to. And after that, we're gonna also have a button. So after the second search product, so that's the second search product, and then we're gonna have a button here. Let's say button, and on that button it should be, let's say, view comparison here. So now this button is available right here. We're gonna put some class name to make it looks better. So I'm gonna just go and calculate the define parameter. So let's provide the class name, and that should concat the define parameter right now. And also, as you can see, whenever I choose to have something, like if I select that, so both things there, then only it can be actionable. Of course, right now you can see those the similar passionate parameter is there. If I reload, so you can see it's totally disabled on that particular arithmetic things. So I'm gonna go and configure that disable parameter to just to showcase that these things gonna work. So I'm gonna just go and put that right now. That could be the BJ gray, border gray, and text gray, cursor not allowed for the disable method, which is right now happen to be there. As you can see, that's the disable method, but once ever we're gonna type, that's things we're gonna use that. So right now we have a pretty good context here that we build up our things, and the data is fading from our server, and also everything is working perfectly aligned and fetching it all together. I think now we can move forward. Of course, the functionality and other parameter which we are looking forward to keep it here, we're gonna do it. But before jumping on that, I need to go and raise up the product and do other parameter which can really make some good causing. So till now here, if you're having any problem, let me know in the comments, and also the code which going to be available. You just simply click on that GitHub link. You're gonna get all the repo description and all the things gonna be diverted there. So finish that banner section, because now we're gonna dive into to build up the other probabilities. Then we're gonna go one by one, build up all the functionality and all the features.